Welcome to the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Braylon Edwards, touchdown, Michigan.
Running pattern to Edwards, touchdown, Michigan.
Where we bring you the best in sports, entertainment, and insight. Join us every weekday from 2 to 4 p.m. as we break down the latest games, analyze the biggest plays, and dive into the hottest topics in sports. We'll have exclusive interviews with your favorite athletes and guests, and you'll get a front row seat to all the action. So tune in to the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Got one-on-one going end zone. Edwards in the air. Oh, what a catch by Braylon Edwards. His second touchdown of the game.
On the Woodward Sports Network, where sports comes to life.
All is right with the world. Yes, the man is back in his rightful place. Braylon Edwards Show.
Hey, shout out Bray.
With Braylon Edwards here. Ryan is back with us. That's good. Kool-Aid, who was with us yesterday, he is here as well. What was that, Ryan? Did you give me a peace sign?
Yeah, it was that.
Just want to make sure I got it.
Hey, got
Oh, did you think I was doing something else?
Yeah, no. I'm used to the other thing.
Oh, okay.
That I'm not used to. But it's good that Braylon Edwards is back with us. We missed you, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Glad to be back. Glad you guys were able to hold it down yesterday.
Barely.
That's one of my turns, man. I like that a lot, man. Found out yesterday that one of my former teammates, Zia Combs, had passed away of a heart attack. Found out that Sunday night it happened. We found out yesterday, me, the Michigan family. And, it's just one of those things that sits you down. I remember my time with him well. He's a year older than me as it relates to class. He came in 2000 out of Henry Clay, out of Lexington, Kentucky. Met early on, and it's also very surreal that Michigan's playing Washington this week. You put the picture up, Ryan, of Zia, but Michigan's playing Washington this week. And it's so crazy because he always told me, he was like, hey, Yoski. Yoski's his nickname, by the way. He called everybody Yoski. Hey, Yoski, you going to score this week. You going to score this week against Washington. I was like, all right, we'll see. We'll see how the game plays out. Sure as I don't know what, scored my very first touchdown, University of Michigan, and the first person on the sideline that came up to me. Hey, Yoski, I told you. So just an emotional day for me, man. Emotional day for University of Michigan, but more emotional for his family. So Shamaria and the girls, we nothing but love here, man. You get whatever you guys need out of us. He's spirited individual. And I just saw him at the Smoothie King High School Athlete of the Week. I went up there to see Tommy Carr play, Coach Carr's grandson. Well, his son plays for the same team, so we exchanged some words. So that also kind of hit home hard yesterday.
Yeah, we were thinking about you, and we're praying for you, absolutely. Kool-Aid's family has experienced a tragic loss, so you guys are always in our thoughts and prayers. Your families, too. You are strong individuals, and it's the reason your families are so good is because they have you as leaders. Friends are so important, right?
Yeah.
What do you look for in a friend?
Man, just be honest with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's loyalty. And what honest and loyalty means, you can always talk to me. Yeah, you can tell me the good, you can tell me the bad, but just talk to me. Don't talk about me behind my back. Don't talk about me in other circles. You talk to me. The loyalty, that extends. I think that goes without saying. You're honest, you're loyal, you're authentic. Everything else kind of falls into place. The respect comes from being able to trust an individual, being able to see if an individual is loyal.
That is so well said.
Yeah.
Is that more challenging as a former athlete because there might be a lot of people who want to call you a friend because of what you did rather than who you are?
This is very true. I know in my situation, I had a lot of people around me that were actually family. So for me, it was easy to weed out the BS. For a lot of individuals, it's not. For me, it's just you can see who's there for the truth and who's there for everything that comes with that and who's there for what the ride possibly entails. Now, I had a lot of guys fall by the wayside, a lot of people, a lot of friends, where you're just going in the moment. You're going with the show. You're going with University of Michigan. You're going with the first-round draft pick. You're going with everything that comes with it. So there are people that kind of hang around. But as you get older, you start to realize, if I got in trouble today, these guys wouldn't be around. Like if my career was over today, these individuals wouldn't be around. If I was, in a relationship, you know who's after certain things versus who I can trust to maybe put a ring on it, in the words of Beyonce. So it comes with the territory. It's hard to maneuver through. I got blessed in the sense of having 2 moms, 2 dads, sisters. So I got a little bit blessed in that regard. But I saw it. A lot of people get taken for granted. 100%.
Yeah, I think seeing you to be honest with you, being part of this show has been such a wonderful experience for me. But a lot of my eye-opening experience actually came in the very first night.
The dinner.
How you talked to your mom, how engaged you were with your sister, your niece, both your dads, the connection that everybody had. I think that tells you more about a person. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what most of my friends do because I don't care. I care about who they are, not what they are or what they do. So I think that's the most important thing in friendship is caring about people for who they are, how they treat you, and how they treat their people. That tells you an awful lot. I think that's really important. So I see how you interact with your beautiful girlfriend and overhear some of the wonderful things you say. We all have issues once in a while. She's a wonderful person. She deserves you. You deserve her. I think that's the most important thing. You can tell the people who made an impact in your life, and I think that's really important. And we were thinking of you yesterday deeply. Okay,
I appreciate that. I was actually thinking of you guys too. I don't know if you got a chance to talk about it, but there was a spread that came from one of our sponsors, i.e. Black Rock Bar and Grill. We talked about it. We talked about the steak and shrimp. We talked about the lobster and steak. We talked about all the things that Black Rock can do. Even though I was out, I wanted you guys to taste it firsthand. What do we think?
Well, you can talk about it all you want, but it doesn't do it justice for the taste. Now, not very often do you ever see Kool-Aid without something to say.
This is very true.
He'll smile and he'll say something. There's something. At some point, he's going to interact with you. All right. Yesterday might be the first time because Black Rock brought in this massive steak on a rock. All right, with a huge steak knife, and
Jeff and Maddie told me it was going to be special.
It was special. Okay, but it wasn't just us. The entire building swarmed like it was the last drop of honey on the bee's nest, and everybody, we were all bees, just converging on it. But we had our own separate in here. I had a plate. I had a steak. I had lobster. I had mac and cheese. I had shrimp, and I had chicken. I left a very happy man.
Okay.
I stayed a little bit longer than I should have. Had to unbutton the pants. It was so good.
Yeah.
And Kool-Aid came out of the booth like he had just changed into Superman.
Okay.
And dove into the steak and could not get enough of it, and rightfully so. And then you go out in the kitchen area.
And it's just
folks,
more.
Yeah, because folks, where we are is we have this big kitchen out in this area, and we share it with the lovely people of Lady Jane's and the people who are part of the coffee shop right next door. And it's almost as if you could have shot a cannon through the entire building. We were all in the kitchen.
I didn't even know what was going on. Shep was like, you know what, Kool-Aid? Take the whole steak. I was like, but Shep, we got to take the whole thing. Because Shep had gone outside.
He had already seen what was going on.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And make sure you also get outside, too. You guys, man, definitely looking out, man.
That's not a
we
problem.
appreciate it. It was fantastic.
It was fire.
So full disclosure, I appreciate Black Rock a lot. Thank you, Jeff, setting this up. I called Jeff last week, and what I was trying to do while the Tigers were playing, I was trying to have some Black Rock come last week.
Yeah.
But kudos to Jeff and kudos to Maddie because he said, we could bring you something, or we can have something sent there, or we can give you a credit and you could DoorDash some Black Rock. He said, or you can wait till Monday. You can allow us to take our time, and you can allow us to do it right for Woodward Sports, do it right for the Blade Never Show with Shep. So I said, you know what, I want it now. We don't know if the Tigers are going to be around next week, but they took their time, and apparently it was worth it.
They went all out, and I would say this, as tantalizing as that picture
Black Rock,
is,
baby. See this? We told you we rock with our sponsors. We're not blowing smoke when we say we rock with our sponsors.
we welcome that smoke. As tantalizing as that picture is, and it doesn't do it justice how good it tastes. And Jeff came up here, and we talked to him a little bit, found out a little knowledge about how to cook your steak and the things on the grill, and some of the special. Poor Ryan. Ryan's like, "Are you effing kidding me? Did I really miss on a Monday? Why would you take a Monday off? Only because Ryan."
Oh, Ryan, what? You weren't in
Ryan.
yesterday?
No, I was not.
No.
Oh man,
No.
it's leftovers.
I
I
did
just
see
saw Justin Satawa heating something up.
Yeah, there was
Yeah, I
some
did
steak,
see
there's some
some
steak
leftovers.
Some
left.
steak and some asparagus, I think.
Yeah, exactly. The shrimp was to die for. I'm not kidding. It would have been really hard for you to figure out what was the best. The one thing, you ever seen the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Of course, Rick Moranis.
That's what you wanted. You wanted to be that and then dive into the plate and just swim through all of it while eating it.
One thing I like, because I'm like, shrimp is one of my favorite things. Like, shrimp is one of my favorite things, period. Like, I love them always. I love shrimp.
Coconut, grilled, all of it, right?
I love coconut when I was younger, not necessarily as much, but if I go to like one of those win and roam type deals, if you go somewhere to specialize and they have the sauce, for sure I would try it and have some. But one of the things about shrimp, I love restaurants that can keep the shrimp a full size. That is key for me. Keep the shrimp full. Like when you're supposed to have full shrimps, I don't want them looking like scampies. And when they look like scampies, I don't want them to be even baby scampies. And Black Rock does a good job of giving you shrimp that's full and shrimp that actually has that pop, that crunch, that taste to it. So very hard to do. I'm very, very, very stickler when it comes to shrimp.
Well, this had some sweet-looking sauce and sweet-tasting sauce on it. I don't know what it was. I don't care what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have told me whatever. All I know is it tasted really good, and then the chicken was really good. It's one of those meals where you could have – I mean, when I was a kid, my dad literally, if we'd have eggs and bacon and toast and hash browns, he would literally mix it all up because he was in the war.
A little hash, a little
and if you weren't eating, he would push all your food to the center of the plate and said, "Eat it." You know, we had to clean the plate, right, back in the day, no matter how we felt about it. And I would say, "Dad, you're mixing it up." He says, "It doesn't matter. It all goes down the same hole anyway." Well, on this plate, you could have mixed it all up. You could have taken a bite with steak and lobster, steak and mac and cheese, all of it, and it was.
You just found yourself kind of mixing it in together because it complemented.
You know what I found myself saying? I'm lucky.
Oh yeah,
that's what I said yesterday. I was eating, and I was hungry. But I wasn't that hungry.
Apparently, after naming the things that you said you ate.
Yeah.
But that's what it was for, though.
Yeah.
We started the show at 2. It's one of those time slides where, like, it's always going to work. Because either you're going to start the show and you're still hungry because you ate lunch a little bit earlier.
Right.
And or your lunch is finally dissolved, and by the time the show's over at 4, guess what? You're hungry. So the 2 to 4 slot for us, you're going to be hungry. Either a little hungry in the beginning or a lot hungry at the end.
It's a good deal. It sure is. So thank you for that again. We appreciate it very much. Last night, the weekend football finished up, okay? So my question to you would be, and the Falcons said this afterwards, for me, they stunned the Bills. I don't know who you guys picked, but I picked Buffalo in that game. I wasn't here Friday for your
picks.
Picks. Yeah, so we can look those up a little bit later on. I had picked Buffalo. And then the other game was Washington-Chicago. I picked Washington. So I was 0 for 2 last night. But the Falcons came out and basically said, look, we're legit. It's a measuring stick game. Buffalo has become a measuring stick game. That's quite a compliment to the Bills. I would argue the Lions have become a measuring stick game as well.
Yeah.
Can you become legit based on one opponent you have beaten in your mind?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Depends on the opponent,
It
right?
depends on the opponent. It depends on the time. Like right now, you're talking about the Atlanta Falcons that are 3-2 now after a win over a team that many people think are going to win the Super Bowl. Now, what they think about them now, it's different. But going into that game, this is one of the teams that's still 4-1, still a team that's like, hey, look, this team is still here. They're still 4-1. They're going to figure it out. Not so fast. The Falcons played great defense. They were fast. Like you saw the defense fly around. This is what the Falcons defense was supposed to be when the season started. At least this is what Raheem Morris talked about. He talked about we're going to be fast. We're going to fly around. You didn't see necessarily that early on in the season, but last night you saw it.
Yeah.
Last night it was on full display. And
James Pierce was really good.
He was real fit. And the best player on the team, one of the best players in the NFL last night, he finally looked like the best player or one of the best players, talking about Baligian Robinson, and the ways in which they were allowed to use him. They used him in multiple ways. They lined him up at regular wide receiver.
I noticed that.
Hard stop, regular wide receiver, going up against the number 1 DB on the field at the time, running a burst release route into which he was actually open, and it was a bad throw by Michael Penix. But Baligian Robinson was allowed to showcase his stuff last night. Drake London, been waiting for him to take his strides.
So good.
When they drafted him 8th overall 4 years ago, it's like, who's this kid out of USC? Oh, he's the other side of Amon-Ra St. Brown. And you know why they drafted him 8th overall. He made some really good catches. And when you give Michael Penix time, When you give Michael Penix time, that is when he's the most dangerous player or version of himself. So last night was a good-looking game, and they beat a team that was 4-1. For whatever you want to say where their holes are, the Buffalo Bills, that's still a team that's 4-1. People think is going to win that division, get to the AFC Championship potentially, and they played them. And to be honest,
It did look close.
They were yes, that is exactly what I wanted to say. 24-14, but the score isn't indicative of how it actually felt.
Atlanta was clearly the better team.
There was one moment where you thought they had a chance, and I think that's when they held them at the end of the half, and Buffalo got the ball back. Buffalo scored, and it's 21-14. You're like, okay, maybe. After that, they went 3-and-out the rest of the third quarter, and that was it. So when you
and Atlanta took the opening kickoff in the second
and went right
half.
back down. Every time they answered the Bills. That was very major yesterday. So can you say that you've arrived after a win like that? I think so, especially you're looking at a league, not NFC or AFC, a league that is wide open.
I was just going to ask
Why
you
can't
that.
Atlanta be ready right now?
When we
Carolina Panthers, the Saints.
Carolina has stunned me.
Well, obviously,
okay? I mean, they're not. Neither one of us would take them in the Super Bowl, but they've surprised us. There's been a lot of teams that have surprised us. Chicago's bounce back has surprised me. Okay, I don't need to see Ben Johnson anymore post game. We're fast and furious and all this other stuff.
At least this time in the locker room was more believable than the first time.
Felt more.
The first one.
Perhaps.
This last one it felt whatever. But I will say this.
Never give in, Shep.
No, and that's why I hurry up and glassed over. But when he says we're here, we've arrived. Also, what does that mean?
Yeah.
We've arrived in the sense we'll make the playoffs. They've arrived. Like they arrived. I can see them as a playoff team. I can see them as a 7th seed. I can see them fight as a 6th. Arriving can mean different things, and they haven't made the playoff in Lord knows how long. So we're here. Yes, you're a team that we'll talk about. It looked good last night, and you beat a good opponent in Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact they have the old red helmets. Shout out Steve Bartkowski, Gerald Riggs and company.
Steve DeBerg, boy.
Steve DeBerg,
Jesse Tuggle,
Tommy Nobis, Jesse Tuggle. I was just going to bring up,
Deion.
So there's
Deion.
Was Deion? I thought Deion was with the black helmet. Either way.
Deion was red. He got drafted in '89.
Okay. All right, that's good. Good
the
catch
red
by
with
you.
the white.
Good catch by you.
And the Jerry curl.
The Jerry curl. You got to add that. So there's two things that you'd mentioned I want to ask you about.
Yeah.
I was watching Bijan Robinson and Drake London, and I don't want to be too hyperbolic here, so that's why I need to be, probably calm down a little bit.
Okay.
Is that the best running back wide receiver duo in the league?
I knew you were going to go here.
I mean, take a deep thought. I mean, we love Gibbs and St. Brown, right? I mean, that's in the conversation. What else is in the conversation?
Is this a conversation for this season, or is this a conversation for period, the potential?
This season.
Okay.
This season right now. So if you're looking at, I like Bucky Irving a lot, but him and Mike Evans are not as good as that duo, right? Buffalo doesn't have anybody like that.
So let's start here. Let's ignore them for a second, and let's just come up with other duos.
Okay.
So
Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua.
All right, facts.
Okay.
So I would take them, but Puka, Kyron,
okay,
Gibbs, St. Brown. Where else are we going with that?
Well, we're probably going with Saquon Barkley and Devontae Smith. Well, A.J. Brown's been awful this year,
but see, and if we got to go with the secondary receiver, then I put them above them.
But they're in the conversation, is my point.
No.
No?
No.
Devontae Smith's a really good player, and he's on your fantasy team.
He is, but if I'm being honest, he's still the number 2. Like, he doesn't hold a candle to what Drake can do, realistically. And Bijan is just as good. Actually, Bijan probably was ahead of Saquon Barkley even with the 2000.
Okay.
So, yeah, I would put them ahead. I mean, I like Puka and Kyron. Kyron's got to stop fumbling.
Agreed.
He's got to stop fumbling. Gibbs and St. Brown. Gibbs hasn't really gotten going yet. He's got touchdowns.
Yeah.
He's got some yards. He's got some stats. I know he's helping people fantasy out. But tell me this. Those who drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, are you happy with the results? Not as a Lions fan, as a fantasy football fan. Right. No, you're not. So, and a lot of people drafted him first overall. So I would say Drake and Bijan, but I don't want to be one game and figure it out.
No, I understand.
But they have the potential for sure.
Because we love the wide receivers like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Do they have the complementary back that can be associated with what we're talking about here?
No, because
the answer to that is no.
No, because freaking Minnesota, they're trying to figure out who's even going to be their starting running back consistently. Jordan 1 week, and then moved because Aaron Jones wasn't the same. They've moved their running backs, and then who else did you say?
Well, I was just saying in general, people don't have the
Jamar Chase. That's what I'm saying.
Jamar
Brown,
Chase,
like Brown isn't the type of running back that Bijan is anyway. He's more of a Christian McCaffrey, but then who's the one?
That's right.
Who's the one for them? So
would you go so far as to say Njigba and Kenneth Walker?
And that, once again, the running backs for Seattle, they haven't had that type of year. I'm still waiting for them to catch hold.
That's right.
Yeah.
So basically, that's why it's good to have and fun to have these conversations. You can find the guy who is, or the team that is really good at one.
Yeah.
The wide receivers, like we said, Jamar Chase. You could find Indianapolis with Jonathan Taylor.
And
okay,
yeah,
but then
Pittman,
who is
Downs,
are
they
they
go
in
back
that
and forth.
conversation? It's probably not. It's not Drake. It's not Derrick Henry and Trey Flowers, is it? No. So I think what we've basically said is there's 3 teams that have that combo of wide receiver, elite wide receiver, and elite running back.
And you got Josh Jacobs, but then you don't have a number 1 receiver yet. Matthew Golden is starting to take strides. You saw last week, but right now Romeo Dobbs is their number 1 wideout. And I'm not putting Romeo Dobbs and Josh Jacobs up against any of the 4 that we said.
There you go.
Yeah. So they're there.
Yeah, so they're there, and I think it really comes down to, I think, Atlanta or probably Detroit.
Also, too, to be in this category, you got to have an offensive coordinator that trusts both and features both. Because sometimes you'll see teams, they'll feature one for this game, one for that game, or we'll go away from it this game. I don't know why. With Amon-Ra St. Brown, he is going to get his touches every single game. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get his touches every single game. Kyron Williams, he's going to get his touches. Puka Nacua is going to get his touches. And now it seems like Drake and Bijan are both going to get featured. That's who can go in this one. Because if you're not featured each game, you can't even go in this conversation. So everybody that we're mentioning, that's why Bucky Earl, that's like a lot of injuries. Like the injuries are starting to play a factor. Like what would we be saying if certain people were healthy? So right now, out of those, it's just those 3.
Yeah.
Consistent enough.
And I like Kyron Williams a lot, but you're right. He fumbles too much. Puka Nacua is fantastic. If you had to throw the quarterback in there, I would probably put the Rams. I know I'd put the Rams ahead of the Falcons. I'd probably put the Rams ahead of the Lions, too.
Yeah.
But with it's just a running back and a wide receiver, I think Atlanta has the best combo. And then Detroit is 1B.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Be honest, like Drake London impressed me last night. Like he did, because I haven't necessarily dialed into watching him. Atlanta is a tough watch. It has been a hard watch for the last 4 years. They're very inconsistent. But watching him last night, for a big body guy, he has control over his body. With tall guys, that's what you want to know. Can they control the ball? Can they control the routes? Can they run the routes? Can they look under control with that size? Can you get in and out of breaks at 6'4"? You know what I'm saying? Can you move people at 220 pounds? And yesterday I saw him. Body was in good place. He made some good catches. All of them were with his hands. And he was always open, or he was always in the spaces that it seemed like the route dictated for. That was special. Now, it's against the Buffalo Bills, whose secondary is depleted. It's not good, which is why they brought back Tre'Davious White, who was injured and for his 3rd stint. But you have to play against who you play against. And what I saw, Drake London is a lot better than I thought he was. And I think he can be elite in this league. How good is Michael Penix? Time will tell.
Yeah, I like that answer. I think the reason I put Atlanta slightly ahead of Detroit is just because Gibbs shares so much with David Montgomery. Yeah. And that's not a knock on him by any stretch, but Bijan Robinson's a pretty special talent. The touchdown he had where he was able to break to the outside and basically run away from 2 defenders. I think there's very few running backs in the National Football League who can do that. I really do. He's a special talent. He's an awesome player.
There's running backs that go out on the outside and they make plays, and it was a big catch, it was a touchdown, or even if it was a tough catch, like, oh, okay. But then there's very few running backs that you see and you expect to make a play, or you look and you analyze it, and you're not even taking into effect that he's a running back. You're just looking at it from a wide receiver standpoint. Did he get his depth? How good was the route? Did he get 14? Did he catch it over this side? Like, that's the type of wide receiver he is. Like, I don't look at it from a running back's point of view anymore. You look at the play on the sideline that he scored on. That is just an extreme example of speed, power, and balance all in the same play. Like, he's all 3. A lot of times you get 1. A lot of times you get maybe 2. To have speed, power, and balance, Like the catch, the tackle break, fine, sure. A ton of people can do that. To keep that 1 foot and where it never even thought about going out of bounds, he was able to pivot, turn, put the left foot down on the inside and then take off. Yeah, he's a special athlete. Like even as somebody that's athletic, I look at that and like,
Yeah.
that's another level of athleticism, speed, power.
Yeah, fun to watch for sure. Speaking of putting feet down, and what'd you think of that Sam Laporta catch back of the end zone? I was thinking about you when
that's
when
one
I
of the
saw
greatest
that.
catches you'll ever see, and I don't want to hype it up in the sense of, well, you're just no. That's one of the. In fact, the announcer said something. The announcer said, he said that's one of the greatest. I think he said that's one of the greatest catches you'll see. He's right. Because everything that has to take place on that catch, one, he's coming from left to right, catches it with the left hand, still gets both feet in, like catches it one hand short, didn't have to worry about moving it, catching it, finishing it. Then he gets 2 feet down, like perfectly, gets down, was able to transition from catching it with one hand to now all of a sudden I have to look down and get both feet down. Like, and it's at the back of the end zone. Things get a lot tighter right there. The defensive player was right there. He was in great position. It was a great throw, mind you. But the catch, you're not going to see an individual be able to catch it with the left hand, get both feet down and turn that easily. The problem and why people won't understand how great of a catch it was, Shep, is because it didn't look hard to him. Like when you watch him, like he got it, he caught it, he got his feet down, and he walked away. Like nothing was. He didn't look like it was special. He didn't look like it was magical. A lot of times, remember when Vince Carter first did the arm in the rim? Remember he did it so easily.
Yes.
So when everybody's watching it,
At age 42, for some reason, he could still do it at age 40.
So when I remember watching in 2000, the dunk contest, it was out in Golden State at the time. I'm like, okay, because nobody reacted until you see the replay. Until now you can process what was done, what it takes to be able to do that, to jump so high that you get all of this in the rim and can hang on the rim. Now you see the stars get excited. So then you realize, wait, if Shaq's going crazy, if KG's going crazy, if Chris Webber's going crazy, maybe it was crazy. I think that's what that catch was. Like he made it look too easy and he got to the sideline too fast. That catch is one of the best catches I've ever seen, and that's not blowing smoke in terms of everything that went into being able to catch the ball one hand, get 2 feet down, and then turn around the end zone. On a defender, mind you, there was a defender there. So I think because it was so easy looking for him, it won't get the credit that it really deserves. It was a special catch up.
That's well said.
It's
That's why I
special
love
catch.
getting your thoughts on something like that. You brought up Vince Carter, the Hall of Famer, played till he was 43.
He's trying to play again.
He's just an unbelievable athlete,
He just said,
right?
I got more left in the tank.
You know what?
Yeah.
I, honest to God, I believe that.
'Cause he
I
can
was
shoot.
calling a Pistons game on TV back in 2018 or 19, and he was in Sacramento, okay? And he was out there playing, and he was making some things happen, and he hit a 3 from the left wing. And I remember looking down at my notes and saying, Carter for 3, got it. That is his, and I gave the number of threes that he had hit in his career. And at the age of 40,
It's like 7th all
I
the
think he
time.
was 40 at the time. It's not just that. It's just that how fluid he was at that age. Look, I do not like, and I never will like LeBron James, but I can at least admit that dude at his age is an absolute freakazoid.
Yeah, he got the
right?
peptides going for him.
Yeah, something. I mean, there's something different in the water there, right? And the same thing was with Vince Carter. I mean,
sauce.
for him to play as long. Same thing with Nolan Ryan. Same thing with Pete Rose. It's not unique to just basketball. It's not unique to one position. What those guys do, Tom Brady, how well he took care of his body, I don't know. All I know is when you can play at that high of a level, and Vince Carter was still playing at a pretty high level. He's 43, but he's still averaging like 15 minutes a game. Okay?
When you guys conversated yesterday, speaking of this Chiefs game, when you conversated about the game, when the chat was talking, how much of the chat was we put ourselves in this situation because one of the things I talked about, I said you have to be disciplined.
Yes.
I said you have to be disciplined. I said you cannot allow them to allow the refs to cheat. So you can't put yourself in that space. How many people were mad at how the Lions played versus how many people were mad at the refs and the Chiefs? Was there half and half? Talk about it.
Yeah, Kool-Aid, how would you have judged the chat yesterday in that regard? I think obviously people are emotional and they didn't like the way some of the things were official, the way some of the calls went.
Yeah.
But I think they were also frustrated that the Lions missed opportunities. But look, we know the ones that stand out.
Yeah.
So it's the Goff play where he goes under center for a brief moment. I think somebody on social media used Tom Brady as an example where he literally went in motion, caught a touchdown pass in a game. There was no flag there. When Patrick Mahomes is doing his thing in the end zone to Brian Branch,
Right.
and there's no flag there for taunting, okay?
Right.
The Travis Kelce catch was an absolute abomination of a no call. The block in the back, and then the illegal motion every once in a while.
Yeah.
For a team not to get a penalty, Braylon, the bottom line was the chat. Kool-Aid, correct me if I'm wrong here.
Yeah, that was
the
about
bottom
it.
line was for a team not to get a penalty and run 62 plays and have that for the first time in the last 300 plus football games. I think people had a legitimate gripe.
Yeah. I definitely think it's a legitimate gripe, and I think we will see this team again, realistically.
Ooh.
Really?
Hold on. You got to expand on that, Bray.
I told you 2 weeks ago I didn't want to play. Excuse me. I told you 2 weeks ago. I said when the Lions are about to play the Browns, I said I don't care about this Browns game. I don't care about. I said what do I care about?
Like the Browns.
I said in 10 days they play against the Kansas City Chiefs in the night game, and I believe the Chiefs are getting people back. It's going to be at home, starting to look like they got some issues that they're figuring out. I want to see how that game looks, and then the Chiefs win. And now I'm excited.
Controversially.
No, definitely it's a controversial win.
Yeah.
Like I'm 100% agreeing with the chat. I'm agreeing with you can't have 0 penalties when I can show you 7 plays. Like, and it's at home and it's consistent. It's becoming a thing. It gets to the point where your head coaches and Mark Verbo, they're just laughing.
Yes.
They're legitimately laughing. Like that's how crazy it's been to where now head coaches in the NFL they can't even get mad. Like they're laughing.
Well,
That's how
so
laughing.
that means this though. The league is. I think not sensitive, but the league understands perception.
Right.
They do.
Do they?
There's examples of it everywhere. Okay, they understand what people are talking about, what people feel, and so on and so forth. How do they not read this proverbial room?
I just don't think they give a. Personally, I just don't think they care because coming into this game against the Lions, all people talked about is who's going to be the 12th man for the Kansas City Chiefs, the Zebras. That's all everybody talked about. And we have situation upon situation upon situation or examples of it being the case for the Chiefs in the past 4 years. Hell, you can just say 2 if you can say 1 if you're going to go that route. So you know that you come into a game, and how do you respond to that? You ignore 3 egregious plays, you ignore a 7 on total, and then you also just ignore everything because you finished the game with 0 calls on the Kansas City Chiefs. That means they can't read the room. No, that means they don't care.
Are you as a player against them? Do you think Lions players would you be recognizing? Man, they haven't been whistled for 1 penalty.
That's what gets you to the Brian Branch situation at the end of the game. I'm not making excuses for
Okay.
it. You know that's my guy. Look,
Yeah.
I side with Dan Campbell. Let's start there. I side with what Dan Campbell say. I don't have to say anymore, but I understand the aggression. I understand it. Because when you go into a game and you know we've had to deal with this before, what did they see 2 years ago that they may have ignored because they won the game? So you come into this game and then you experience things, not 1 play, not 2 play, a couple plays, and you lose the game, man. Losing adds insult. So now you lose, now you a little bit, now you see red like the Bulls on the Looney Tunes cartoons back in the day, and now you make the move, which is an idiotic move. But I understand the frustration. But the frustration can't turn into that.
Agreed. It's a selfish play. It's a stupid play, and he's my guy too. I love him.
Yeah.
I think
afford
he's
to
an
be without him.
I wore his jersey
he's an
Friday.
outstanding player. I did want to ask you this because there was a little bit of debate between me and Anson yesterday regarding this.
Oh, Lord, what y'all talking about?
Well, my belief is there is a referee meeting every single time before the game with the coaches, not together. But the referees come in and meet with head coach Braylon Edwards. They meet with head coach Kool-Aid.
We see him coming in the locker room.
Sure, absolutely. Takes about 10 minutes. Go over a few things in a refresher. At that point, I think there are coaches, when they have something, a bag of tricks up their sleeve, I want you to know we're doing something similar to this. They're not telling you down in distance when it's going to happen, but they're giving you a heads up to be on the lookout for it. Skipper, a couple years ago, catching the pass, right? Or reporting to the referee. Do you believe that is something that Dan Campbell indicated to the referees, number one, and number two, how bad did they get it wrong, or how right were they considering how late they threw the flag?
I would say definitely he had a conversation with the refs. We know what happened in Dallas 2 years ago. We know how big of a stinker that was, even though we know it was on them. Fine. Dan went out of his way to make sure from the very rest for the very rest of his time as a head coach. Since then, he has talked to the refs. He's reported plays. He's told them. He's cracked jokes about it. You've seen Dan. Hey, reporting. They make jokes about it, but the joke didn't stop. They kept it going. I know this for a fact that he's dialed in. They had the conversation. They just didn't care.
Right.
They simply just didn't care. Now, as it relates to the penalty, here we go again, Kool-Aid. Remember I told you what I wanted the Netflix documentary to be about? I wanted it to be about all the calls that randomly happened on the Lions that haven't happened for 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years. Oh, here's this call yet
Brand
again.
new
And what
stuff
team was it?
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions. I'm like,
Process
I've never heard this. What is this call even?
Why isn't that a catch?
I legitimately I've been watching football
We can
since
add it to
I
the
could
show.
watch football and understand football. I've been playing football for Lord knows how long. Never have I heard this. I still don't understand
Never heard
what
it.
happened. And the
Jared
fact-
Goff didn't hear it, and they indicated to the referees that they were going to run it. He thought it was you had to have your hands under center. There's a communication problem between the National Football League and its player.
I am so glad you said that. Because when we go back to the Dallas game, we all were made aware that the Detroit Lions take their trick plays to the refs and tell them every detail of it.
Well,
Like-
they do that before the game, but I think what he's referring to is Dan Skipper actually went up to the referee and said, "I am reporting.
Yeah.
Hello,
Crazy.
do you know? Do you hear me? Right?
And then if you're gonna make a call like that, please make it on time.
Thank you.
Just make it on, like, you can alleviate a lot of the BS. You can we won't be having this conversation on Tuesday, regardless if I missed yesterday or not. If you would have just threw the flag, because you guys read the rule book, you guys know the rule book, so you knew what happened, you knew what the call was, so you knew right then and there, boop, flag on the play, or was it, huh? You got to throw a flag?
Wait, we can't have Kansas City down?
And that's not what it is, Shep, but that's what it is, Shep. Like, that's not what it is. We don't believe
That's
so.
good acting, by
but
the
that's
way.
exactly what it is.
That should be like on
Throw
the big
it
screen
right
there.
away. That's a foul.
Excuse me, what's
Wait,
that?
Patrick,
It's a foul.
what you
It's not a
saying?
touchdown.
Throw the
No
flag.
touchdown. Wave the touchdown off. Don't let Jared Goff do a 10-minute celebration.
Right.
Don't let everybody get excited. Usually when the flag is thrown right away, receivers, he was a receiver in this place, caught a touchdown, you do the song dance, you took a look. There was nothing.
Right.
There was nothing on the initial look back once he turns around after he's talking to the crowd. And then all of a sudden he takes a couple more steps and gets out of the end zone. Now all of a sudden here's the laundry. Here's the explanation. So I just think if you're going to call a call like that, just get it right at the beginning. Don't make it look like you didn't know the rule book, which seems to happen on the Detroit Lions once a year.
It does make it look like you don't know what you're doing as a refereeing team and the league. It makes it look like we're uncertain. This can't be reviewed, so we'll throw the flag. Okay.
So there's a lot of rules that I'm starting to realize I don't know, and what I'm starting to also realize is I ain't the only one, because it seems like a lot of referees don't know the NFL rules as well.
It's one thing, to your point, I think it becomes a lot more credible if the referee is there, throws it right away. But for them to convene, talk about it, then throw the flag, try to convene again and realize, you know what, maybe this is exactly what happened. They just look uncertain of it all.
It also looks like the information is coming from somewhere else, and that's illegal.
What?
Yeah, I didn't get that indication that it would come from the Chiefs, but with
Not
an
necessarily the Chiefs,
earpiece,
I'm
it could
saying,
be
like,
from New York. You're
There
saying.
you go. Like if somebody's giving you information from New York, like, hey, that's illegal, blah blah blah. It's up to the head ref to make a rule in the indications, and once they get there, then they can have that conversation. But you don't. Those guys are on TV.
Yeah.
Like, you can't call those guys. They can't radio to you and say, hey, this is going on. But that's what it feels like.
Exactly.
Somebody
This
gave a
isn't-
phone call and said, hey, look, you can pull out this level 6, paragraph 12. It says, I know I'm going crazy.
No,
but
you're right,
that's what it
Braylon. This
feels
is
like.
not Major League Baseball years from now, where somebody is upstairs pressing ball or strike, okay, and telling the home plate umpire. This is an NFL referee team, and there's a lot of rules. We understand that. They're supposed to know that rule, and they're supposed to know it right away. And what they did was screw the Lions. And I'm sorry, I'm not talking as a homer here. I hope people know me, but that is unacceptable at that level. I doubt there's a point where Andy Reid is going, that chicken tastes pretty good. I just don't think that's legal. I think he tapped Graham Glasgow's ass and then he went in motion. I don't think you're allowed to do that. I bet you Andy Reid didn't know the rule either. I don't think anybody did. And I still question the rule, to be honest with you. But speaking of the Chiefs, you had mentioned that the league is wide open. How wide open? We'll give you an example of just how wide open it is after we hear from this open and shut case from Ben Johnson.
I like what you did there. Corporations, the government, even your insurance company will do whatever it takes to minimize their liability and withhold your compensation. Nobody wants to be liable for anything, even the things that they should be liable for. But that's why you got Ben Johnson Law. That's why he should be and will be your attorney, because he's the fighter. So you got to let him fight for you. You got to make him the first call so that he can get in your corner and make him the fighter for you. Thenfights.com.
Art and Jake's is a really good spot to watch football. It's a really good spot to watch any sports in general, and they've got a lot of different places for you to enjoy. In fact, they have 6 locations in Michigan, including East Lansing. I know. Braylon just turned around and said, "Say what?" They do. They have one in East Lansing, and he never lost in East Lansing, and they want you there for a special edition of the pregame show. Yes, we are going to be there, sports in East Lansing, for the Michigan State Michigan game. That's right. See, we were there in Shelby Township for the Bengals game, remember? Well, this time we're going to be in East Lansing's location, where you've got outstanding stuff. You've got outstanding food. You've got all kinds of 22 draft beers on tap for you. You've got 80, count them, 80 TVs to watch the games. That's plural. Take advantage of it. But more importantly, go there, enjoy the pre- and post-game edition on Woodward Sports. It's the Michigan State weekend. Art and Jake's live there in East Lansing. Download the Art and Jake's app. Join AJ's fan club and make every day a game-winning day.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Every Sunday, there's only one place to get all your kneecapping, hard-hitting Detroit Lions coverage. Start your Sunday with the Lions Weekly Report with Broder and Terry Foster. Then, the Lions pregame show with Neil Rule and Sean Baligian. At kickoff, keep it locked in for all the emotions of the game with a live watch party with the heavyweights. Then, recap the game with the Lions postgame show with Anson. Game days, there's no other place to be than Woodward Sports. Live all game day. Go Lions.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Ever wonder what goes on inside the game?
Deep ball's got a man and got him. Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Join Braylon Edwards and Shep.
Edwards has it. 10-5, touchdown.
On the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Lamar looks in zone. Got Edwards for the touchdown.
Where they dive deep into the heart of sports. Weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m., they're bringing you expert analysis, exclusive interviews, and a fresh perspective on the sports you love. Don't miss it, only on the Woodward Sports Network. Head to woodwardsports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. Woodwardsports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at woodwardsports.com.
It's where your fitness is and should be essential with over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations. It's the gym for you because it is squeaky clean talking about the locker rooms. Then there's trainers with every type of workout, every type of membership that you can get. And also, if you want to get a membership on the little bit elevated side, get yourself a black card for $24.99. See, that's still fitness that fits into your budget. And with that comes the Aqua Hydro massage chairs and all the other amenities. Planet Fitness, man, you come on in, get this workout in, start your journey today. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Work it out. Shout out Kanye.
Oh, I thought you were saying we back. I heard a shout out there. Yeah. I thought maybe you were going to shout out Sun Cruiser. Why wouldn't you do that? Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. I ran into Anson earlier today, and he's got the T-shirt, the free T-shirt that he didn't give to me. The Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, real iced tea, real vodka, no bubbles. It's crisp. It's refreshing. It's only 100 calories, and it's 4.5% alcohol. It really is. It's perfect for... You're going to watch some baseball tonight, maybe? Okay. It's a great time to sit down and enjoy something refreshing like that after a hard day's work. If you're out there playing golf, it's not going to bloat you down. Actually, it might give you a little bit of a pick-me-up, and you might make that 18-foot birdie putt. So this season, let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser and Woodward Sports, and please drink responsibly.
Hey, we back.
I was looking... I don't know why I do this because how many are really that important, but I was looking at the various websites and I wanted to see the power rankings of the National Football League and see where Detroit is at.
Oh, okay.
All right. And one of the first ones I clicked on, unfortunately, I could not, I'm not kidding you, man. I get that we can be very hyperbolic in sports in general these days. Wait till you hear this one, but let me just give you this one real quick. Sports Illustrated. Do you think SI is a reputable?
First of all, I have not paid attention to Sports Illustrated since I left high school. Like it made, I'm lying because I'm 2001. Yeah, I was still listening to Sports Illustrated. I want to say maybe like 07 I was done with Sports Illustrated, and I never looked back.
And I agree with you. And I'm not talking about the swimsuit editions, or I'm not even talking about the magazine itself. Right. I'm talking about the website, si.com.
Yeah, no. In my opinion, I don't think so.
Yeah, I peruse that every single day just to see what's interesting. So I always click on the football rankings because I want to see where the Lions are, but also the division. Guess who they have as the number one team this week? They do it weekly.
Right.
It's kind of a fun weekly discussion. Who do you think is the number one team this week?
In the NFC or AFC? Just all together?
It's all football.
New England Patriots.
That's a surprising guess, but okay. I like you.
The way in which you asked the question, I'm like...
No, I like you went outside the box. Kool-Aid?
Yes, sir. Reset that one more time for me.
I said, which team, at SI.com, which team do you think is the number one in the NFL power rankings this week?
Bucks would be my guess if I was being serious.
I'm thinking Bucks or
Bucks. Okay, so we have the Patriots, Bucks, Ryan?
I saw it beforehand, so I won't.
They have the Chiefs.
Wait, what?
I know. They have the Chiefs at 3-3. Now, that tells me one of two things. A, somebody needs to be drug tested, or B, they really value the win over the Lions. So that tells me, if it's the latter, then that's really cool. But still, they have Kansas City, then they have Tampa, then Seattle, Indianapolis, and then Detroit. So Detroit is a top 5 team, for what that's worth.
Yeah. I'm always able to compartmentalize and not judge from like a biased standpoint. So I can always see two sides. For this side, I see here's Patrick Mahomes. He's still until proven otherwise the best player in the league. We talked about this earlier this year. We said it was him, and he wanted to add Myles Garrett. That became 2. You still have him. You still have Andy Reid. Now you have Rashee Rice, who starts this week. Now you have Xavier Worthy, who's finding passes, finding the end zone. Still can't necessarily figure the running back situation out, but Pacheco is running harder. They put him back in there as a starter over Kareem Hunt. That looks better. Offensive line seems to be protecting a little bit more. Still have some defensive players on the other side. Nick Bolton is playing some really good football. So is Karlaftis. Chris Jones, he'll figure it out. You saw a couple plays against the Lions, and then you got a really good DB. Why not? Like if I'm Sports Illustrated, why not have the guy that always seems to figure it out? Like the team that always seems to figure it out. We've been at this very same crux. 2 years ago, The Kansas City Chiefs started off the same exact way.
You said it, yep.
Same exact way, and then they found themselves, they got to the Super Bowl, and they won the Super Bowl. And then last year, found themselves in the Super Bowl yet again, but they got destroyed.
Yeah.
So, you know what?
You said this 3 weeks ago about Kansas City. I think the slight difference might be I think their division is better. I think the Chargers and Broncos are better than they were when Kansas City went through that.
True, but if I'm making this, if I'm writing this, and this has been my pick, then in that case, I'm telling myself I don't fully buy the Chargers without that offensive line. They don't look the same as they did in the beginning of the year. They won late in the game.
That's a fair point.
They don't look the same. Bo Nix and that still doesn't necessarily look all the way there. Defense looks good, but on offense, you're like, there's some plays and there's also mixed plays. They don't have a run game. Like J.K. Dobbins and the little things that they do, they use their wide receivers, their running back, more than they use J.K. Dobbins and Ron Harvey, I think, or R.J. Harvey. And then the other one is the Raiders. So when you look at it from that lens, I'm like, not worried about the Raiders. I don't buy the Chargers fully. I'm just not going to lie. I don't buy them fully. And then Sean Payton is showing me why he's Sean Payton. I buy the Broncos.
Okay.
So I buy them and the Broncos at the end, but who do you buy in terms of when the game's on the line?
Yeah, I mean, Kansas City's proven it, right? Yeah. I mean, it's a proven commodity, so you want that. It's no different than trading stocks. You know, you're dealing with something that you truly trust. You said New England, who I think is really good. I do. But Indianapolis doesn't get nearly enough love, I don't think, right now. I think just people are like, that one surprised me. I didn't pick it before the season, so I can't go there just yet. You've got to show me more. Here's a couple other ones, okay? I'll give you the CBS Sports. CBS Sports has Tampa 1, to your point.
Fair.
Green Bay 2, the Steelers 3, the Colts 4, and the Lions 5. Your Patriots at 9. They've pushed the Bills all the way down to 10. And one more for you, and that is ESPN. Tampa, Detroit, Buffalo, Indy, and Philly, which is a little surprising considering Philadelphia. I mean, I think, you know, Green Bay's playing better than both Philadelphia and Buffalo right now. But it's such a long way to go. I just find it very interesting to see where they have it. Detroit, all of these, is in the top 5. That's not a surprise to us. Yeah. I still think they're the best team in football, but it's hard to prove that when Tampa and the Colts have done some things that they've done so far this year. I mean, the Colts lead the league in point differential. 70-something to Detroit. Detroit's got 46. To put it in perspective, I think Detroit's got a plus 46 in scoring differential, and I think that can be often. I try not to get too involved in too many statistics, too many numbers, because you've kind of showed me that sometimes those lie in football. But I think Detroit's really good. I just said I think they're the best team in football. They are a plus 46. Okay, 49. I'm sorry. They're a plus 49. The Colts are a plus in differential 78. That's a pretty big difference. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, what these rankings show me is that no one knows.
Yeah.
Like, these rankings show me that no one knows right now. It's a lot of football being played. A lot of teams you thought were doing this are doing this. And a lot of teams you thought weren't going to exist are showing you, i.e. the Colts, hey, you give us a comparable quarterback, you give us a comparable coach, and we can figure some things out. The reason why the Lions are 5 on both of those makes a lot of sense, because who do they play this week? They play the number 1 seed. And everybody's like, if they lose, we can gladly move them down to whatever. If they win, then we'll supplant and we'll move them up. So that's why the Lions are 5 on this list, because they play the number 1 team this week.
Yeah.
So it's like we'll put them 5, and whatever happens, we'll adjust on Monday. Either we're sliding them down, or we'll just put them right back at number 1 after they beat the Bucs.
Somebody in the chat said the Lions suck recently, so I don't know what's going to happen to this team. I wouldn't say they suck by any stretch. Would you? And Aleem McNeil might be available this Sunday against Tampa. Brian Branch has appealed his suspension, so with that in mind, he should be good to go against Tampa, which should make people feel a little bit better.
Yeah, no, 100%. I just got a text that was hilarious. Sorry about that. It's a former teammate. Came in time for the situation, but he's always funny.
Okay.
Like, even in serious times, he's always funny, so my apologies.
Sometimes you need that. You need the funny.
It was well needed. Yeah, it was well needed. Looking at the Lions in terms of how they've played, they've been inconsistent. Because now that now you have more injuries in the secondary. You're starting to look at this game against the Chiefs. Didn't necessarily look good. You go back to some games, some struggles running the ball at times against the Cleveland Browns, even at times against Cincinnati towards the end of the game, which was blown, which was over. Still, you let some players get away from you. So there are some things that the Lions have to get better at, and they're starting to show their head a little bit. Remember when, beginning of the season, Jameer goes for 96 yards, Dave Montgomery goes for 60, and everybody's, the run game's back.
Yeah.
I told you, I said, I don't like how they run between the tackles.
Right.
Like, they still have not found a way to run between those tackles. And if you're not going to be able to run between the tackles, you will get exposed when you play better defense.
Who does it well? Who runs between the? You watch a ton of football.
Jonathan Taylor runs well between tackles, so the Colts have figured out because their running back understands that. In terms of right now, who else is running well between the tackles? Kyron Williams runs well between the tackles when he's not fumbling. Obviously, the individual that we saw last night, Bijan Robinson, he runs well between the tackles. He runs well on the outside as well. Bucky Irvin, when he was healthy, was running well between the tackles. Seems like Tampa have figured that out. He's now injured. At times, David Montgomery and the Lions have figured it out. Like, not Jahmyr Gibbs so much yet. Dave Montgomery and the Lions, they go to zone blocking scheme. We saw some double-on-double against the Bears. It worked well. So
is a lot of that because Gibbs might want to bounce it to the outside to showcase his speed a little bit more, something that maybe some of the bigger backs can't always necessarily do?
I would say that's fair, but he did it last year when Kevin Zeitler was your right guard, when Frank Ragnow was your center, and when Graham Glasgow was your left guard. He ran between the tackles last year. In fact, he ran between the tackles so well, when David Montgomery got hurt, we said he's him. Like, we said that Jahmyr Gibbs can be, he could be RB1 and solo. We said that, and tell me I'm lying.
No, you're right.
Tell me I'm lying in the chat. We saw him be able to run inside tackles, use zone right off of Kevin Zeitler and right off of Frank Ragnow. Also bounce it out to the outside because of his 4.2 speed, because of the electricity, and even when they want to use him in screens and things. But we saw that last year. This year, not so much. And the thing that's changed is the offensive lineman in front of him.
Yeah. When we come back, we're going to talk about frauds. There are some fraudulent teams and men who might be leading them.
One fraud got canned.
Somebody, more than one may have gotten canned.
Talk about it.
And Braylon's got another one that's coming up here on the Braylon Edwards Show after we go live with this Smoothie King update. And boy, could you use a Smoothie King right now.
Back to the football, man. Check this out. Smoothie King, you know what time it is. Almost Friday, which is my favorite day of the week because it is the Smoothie King High School Athlete of the Week, brought to you by Lead Foundation. Recovery is where winners are made, and Smoothie King has the clean ingredients, real fruit. I always tell you, it is the real fruit aspect that I love so much, and protein to help me refuel and get back. You see the guns, but you see the skin going? It's because I'm using those real ingredients. Join me and download the Healthy Rewards app. Now you download the Healthy Rewards app and build a perfect post-workout routine with Smoothie King. And then also, if you want to nominate somebody for the Smoothie King High School Athlete of the Week, all you got to do is scan this QR code above my head. Nominate whoever. Just make sure they're worth it and make sure they're ready, because they could get a chance to win Smoothie King smoothies for a whole year. Talking about 2026. Nominate them today. Scan the QR code above my head.
Braylon talks about routine. It is routine for Sharon's Heating and Air Conditioning to fix what ails your home, right? They've been doing it for over 40 years. Heating, cooling, indoor air quality, whole home generators, water heaters, all part of their long list of specialties. And they treat you right. They treat you like you are their neighbor. So they want to do right by you because they know the home is your biggest investment in your life. And right now, DTE Energy gas customers get a free furnace tune-up through December 1st. Call them today. Sharon's Heating and Air Conditioning, 734-238-3839. That's 734-238-3839. Or scan the QR code above my head and tell them the Braylon Edwards Show sent you.
Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season
and take advantage of our $20 haircut special.
Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shep Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts, Woodward Sports.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
Looking for a way to support local athletes with physical disabilities? Athletes Unlimited, a Michigan-based nonprofit, has one simple mission: breaking down barriers so everyone can experience the joy of sports. This is Dr. Pierce, by the way. This is his foundation. This is what he supports, is Athletes Unlimited. And I've been to these events. In fact, the next one, join us on November 6th at our annual Top Golf fundraiser. Enjoy 3 hours of golf, food, drinks, raffle, and live auction. Register online and consider becoming a sponsor today at Athletes Unlimited. We work with Dr. Pierce in all things, and this is his project, his baby. So we ask you to work with him too. Now, if you want to get yourself together as it relates to joints, are there anything diagnosed where you have aches and pains? He's still your guy in that department too. Scan the QR code above my head or call it 248-426-9944. He's Dr. Jeff Pierce. He's Michigan Sports and Spine.
It is right around this time where we start to get a little hungry. Yeah, I know. It doesn't help when you see a picture of that good-looking pizza that you just want to dive into. You just want someone to take a pizza cutter, carve it up, put it on a piece of paper towel for you, and go to town, right? It's Buddy's Pizza. It's as good as it gets because they do the best Detroit-style pizza in the business. They should, because they've been doing it since 1946. See, it's all about, we talk about this all the time on the show, it's about expectations. The expectations is you go to Buddy's, you get the best pizza in town. They do not disappoint you. In any of their 22 locations, they do not disappoint. And right now, it is a special promotion for you, 10 meal. Yeah, that'll save you 10% off your entire order by using that promo code, 10 meal, MEAL. Go find the location nearest you at buddies.com.
And we back.
We've seen some coaches get pink slipped already. Yesterday was Brian Callahan for the Tennessee Titans. Over the weekend, it was James Franklin.
Get him out of here, coach.
Penn State.
I'm glad he got fired.
Which one?
James Franklin. Callahan, I don't know very much about.
Why the angst against James Franklin?
Because he got paid way too much money to be an individual that couldn't win big games, and the way in which he sells you on the program, the way in which he sells the recruiting, he never really took onus for it. He sits at the podium and says the same things. He deflects every time he gets to that microphone. After you lose a big game or after, he deflects. He's just been the same coach, and I feel like Penn State is a school that could win a national championship if they had the right coach. I'm looking at it from that standpoint. Like, I didn't go to Penn State at all, so I don't care that way. But when you watch a coach just misuse a program, it's like they could be more than what they are.
So that's tough.
For sure. Yeah. Like, what they did in the last two games, that's goofball mentality.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That is goofy. And then to have a Penn State at your beckon, which is a major institution where you can get 5 stars and 4 stars, and you're actually a good recruiter, to continue to have these moments where you just can't beat these teams, and it's always the same thing, that means you aren't trying. That means you're not going out there trying to recruit the players that you need to change the culture or change the thing and bring in different players. At some point, doing the same thing, expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to I don't know James Franklin. I can't say that I necessarily like him. I don't.
I think he's cool. I think he's a cool person. This is about him as a.
He seems like it. It seems like the people who you hear from who played for him say he treats you right. So I can appreciate that. He's been there for 10 years.
Yeah.
He has, not done a great job against really good teams. You're right. I think he's 4th all-time in Penn State history in wins or something along those lines. But is he second?
He's second.
Okay, I thought he was 4th.
Second.
I thought maybe this was okay. Yeah, maybe you're right, behind Joe Paterno. Anyway, in big games, obviously not good. Top 10, top 5, you can break it down. He just isn't. You don't beat Michigan, you don't beat Ohio State. Not good in the conference either. I can't say that you're not trying. I'm sure he is trying. I think he recruits high-end talent to Happy Valley, but there's something that happens on game day or maybe during the week that leaves him exposed, and I don't know what that is. I don't like to see anybody lose their job. I really don't, but it was time to cut that cord, and he didn't just lose big games. This time he lost 2 games to teams that those were embarrassing losses. And you can't handle that if you're a program like that. You just can't.
I just don't understand. If I was LeVar Arrington and I was watching, because I've hung out with LeVar a bunch, shout out to my boy, I don't understand how you watch a game and then watch them lose to a team that legitimately just fired their head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator.
Yes.
You get ran off the field.
Right.
Like I couldn't watch that. And then you turn around in the get back game the following week against a sorry Big Ten school, and to say a team is sorry in the Big Ten is sorry.
Yeah.
So to say a Big Ten team is sorry, that takes it another level. You lost to Northwestern. Favored to win both games by 20 or more points, technically 22 or more.
Wasn't it
points.
homecoming?
I think so.
Yeah.
They came home on
Northwestern is typically a homecoming game.
Yeah. I mean, when you want to bring the equivalent of Braylon Edwards back to your campus and say, look, this is what we're building. This is who's representing you now. Yeah. This is who we are. And you fall flat on your face like that, and you have a winning percentage against top 25 teams at 16%, that's what it is. When you are 4-21 against top 10 opponents, that's a hard pill to keep swallowing year after year, no matter how much he makes. How much he makes, to me, sure, I think it's a factor. There's no doubt. He goes out and gets it. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. I don't care how much you make. If you can get it, if you can find somebody to give it to you, go get it. Go ahead, but you better live up to it.
If you go get it, in my profession as well as yours, we have a job to focus on individuals that make more, especially when they can't get the job done.
That's right.
And when they especially get the job done. Also, too, Shep, it was crazy because it's not just like they were losing to Michigan, Ohio State, if they would play a Georgia, if they would play Alabama when Alabama was good. Yeah. They were losing to ranked teams in the Big Ten. Yeah. They would lose when Iowa was ranked ahead of them, when Wisconsin was ranked ahead of them. Like when Minnesota was ranked, they would lose. Like, huh? Make that make sense. And we talked about this with Drew Aller. James Franklin wasn't out there throwing the pass, but players play in the same image of how their coaches are. If you're a confident coach, players will play confidently. If you're over there nervous, if you're over there giving off energy, maybe Drew Aller was like, shoot, I got to throw a touchdown because my coach is going to get fired. Oops, I threw an interception, got fired anyways.
Yeah.
That's real too, because you embody the energy that your coach embodies. I've played for nervous coaches, and I've seen teams be nervous. And I've played for coaches where you like, oh no, coach is about their life. He has prepared us. He feels good. We'll go out there and embody what he does.
You've watched him enough. Do you think he gets another job?
Yes,
absolutely.
Because he did everything right, and I give him credit for saving that program after what he took it over from.
Yeah.
He deserves his another shot for sure.
Yeah, he inherited. He inherited for the most. I mean, Matt Rule put it pretty well. Is
he next?
He's a graduate in Nebraska.
That's what I was about to ask.
People wanted to know if he's next. He said he loves it in Lincoln. He said he's got a house there. He loves the people there. He loves the culture there. He's got a great relationship with his athletic director. Yeah. All the right things he said at the podium the other day. But someone's going to get James Franklin. I don't know who that necessarily would be, but there are other Big Ten coaches, I think, who are on the lookout for a change.
That Matt Rule conversation, if that's how he voiced it, I see that. If I was a Penn State Nittany Lion, I would be excited. Because at no point did he shut it down.
That's
he
right.
basically just talked about all the other things. I have a great relationship here. And I got this. And I built this. And this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
If you're not going – when Mike Tomlin whenever they ask Mike Tomlin about is he leaving or what's the next move, he walks away from the podium.
Yeah. He's like, no,
I'm not saying you have to be that
I'm not
extreme.
talking about that. Yeah.
If you're not going to take a job, listen, the answer is no. I love my job here. Don't ask me again about Penn State. I don't know what they do. This is my job.
But on the other hand, you don't close any door either, okay? You don't say no just for the sake of no. You should be willing to listen to just about anybody, shouldn't you?
True, but I'm saying more so like for coach speak during the microphone, like when a press conference, like if I don't want the story to run longer, like I'm gonna just shut it down after one. I'm saying, hey, look,
that's a good point.
I appreciate you guys bringing this up, but look, I'm very happy here, man. Hey, get out of here. Can we go on with the next question?
Yeah, he knew he was going to get the question. So, you got to be prepared for an answer like that. The other names that right now, the other positions that some people feel like, I mean, obviously North Carolina, because it's been an absolute train wreck there with Bill Belichick and Michael Lombardi.
James Franklin.
That wouldn't. I bet you it would be a pretty good spot.
He wouldn't get fired.
Yeah, right.
Basketball would take priority.
That's right. He's already been at Vanderbilt, where basketball took priority. Actually, Vanderbilt and baseball takes priority there.
He can go be 8-4. He can go be 8-4 for the next 15 years, and nobody would care.
It's just like the Kentucky job.
Well, depending on the NIL. I mean, if they're pouring in NIL, and I don't know how much they're bringing in, but that's the only thing that has changed in college athletics. But the pressure, to your point, the pressure would not be there like it would be at Penn State, right?
Yeah, you're right. And I was about to ask you, like, what would be the hire for Penn State? A Signetti, a Rule?
Well, Signetti already makes $9 million at Indiana, and he pays his assistants, which is really big. I think that's one of the most important things. James Franklin brought in a good staff. He's got good. I mean, Jim Knowles, they paid $3 million for the defensive coordinator.
He's had coaches.
He has had coaches leave and be successful elsewhere, right? Yeah, he's had some really good coaches. Maybe he's just not good on game day. I don't know what the situation, but I don't. Why do we think Penn State Signetti would leave Indiana for Penn State? When we already know the pressure cooker at Indiana, you just talked about a basketball school, is not necessarily there. He's making good money. He's got unbelievable support from his front office and his administration. Why would that be the case?
I don't know. Maybe because Indiana's still Indiana. You can give me all you want to about what they're doing, and they were number 2 team in the country last year, and blah, 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 and they're undefeated, and he's doing that, and it's still Indiana. When I think of Indiana, I think about the ball going in the hoop.
Yeah.
I think about the ball going in the hoop. I think about red and white pants on the court, on the hardwood, Bobby Knight, like Scooney. I can take you through all the players, but it's still
Assembly
Indiana.
Hall. Yep.
Penn State is an experience right now.
Yeah.
Penn State is one of the largest experience. And just think, you can be the individual. Yeah, you turned around Indiana. But can you turn around Penn State? Can you take Penn State to that next level?
You think coaches look for that challenge? They love that type of challenge? I do too.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And if it's not at the collegiate level, the professional level. I think James Franklin will get another job. Like if you're Wisconsin, I mean, Luke Fickell's going to get fired, right?
I didn't even think of Wisconsin.
Also, I think
it's going to be the worst record since 2001. All right, Barry Alvarez.
What do you feel you can accomplish at an institution?
So there's the next question.
Because there's Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly felt like he accomplished all he could at Notre Dame, and he needed to get the SEC to get the national championship.
Yep.
He left Notre Dame, and they were 11-2.
Yeah.
And didn't even know if they were in or not. Now we knew they weren't going to get in.
Yeah.
Because they were independent.
Nick Saban left LSU, right?
He knew what was coming a little deeper.
Yeah, probably. But it does beg the question, how far can you go into a program? How far do you think you can take one specific program? What Curt Signetti right now is the best Indiana football coach that school's ever had.
Agreed.
And he's only been there 2 years. Right? It's crazy, but that's how bad it is. I don't know if automatically people turn on him if suddenly next year they happen to go 9-3. I doubt it. However, if you go to Penn State and you're 9-3 and you lose to Michigan and you lose to Ohio State,
got money coming
you're still going to a bowl game and money's coming in, and that's fine. But you're not beating the teams you're supposed to beat. There is a different feel there than there is, obviously, in Bloomington.
But this is what would be cool for whoever takes his job. Let's say it's Signetti. What is the outlier for why Penn State hasn't had the success? It's a very similar thing why Michigan hadn't had success. It was the quarterback position. Like, they keep getting the same style of quarterbacks. You get a guy 6 foot, 6'1.5". You can tell he played a little bit of basketball, has some athleticism to him. He's not the fastest quarterback. He's definitely not the slowest. He's tough. His arm, average. Usually uses tight ends like Mike Gesicki a little bit more than they use others. Tyler Warren. You use the tight end spot. You don't have elite wide receivers. Well, newsflash, the Big Ten necessarily doesn't have a ton of those, with the exception
Allen
of
Robinson was pretty good.
Well, true, but I'm saying like the Big Ten as a whole.
You're right. Yep.
I would change the format. Like defense is fine. How they recruit on defense, how they bring in defensive players, D-backs, linebackers, we get that. You got to go find a quarterback, and you got to go find your 2-3 stud wide receivers. Penn State's got money. You have to change the recruiting pool. You have to change what you're doing. You got to change, and you got to bring that attitude in it. James Franklin was recruiting the same type of players every year. The wide receivers look like running backs. They look like the quarterback. They're all the same size. They're all the same stature. They're all the same height. I'm not making this up. It was the same when I played. They have to. If you want to win, you got to change. You have to do something different to attain something that you've never had before. And if I'm the head coach coming in there, first order of business, we got to get a 5-star quarterback. I don't care what it costs.
I agree.
We got to get a 5-star quarterback. And from there, now you get the kids that want to come. Like, whoa. Who's going to Penn State?
Right.
Suddenly the whiteout's that much more appealing. Suddenly that traditional blue and white jersey looks a little better when you got a guy coming in that you know is going to throw that pill 27 times a game.
So so obviously Penn State's been fraudulent. We talked about Texas, although then they just upset Oklahoma.
But Oklahoma was fraudulent.
Material.
Good enough to beat the hell out of Michigan at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I
never said Michigan's going to win that championship.
No, you didn't. But you said they'd win double-digit games. The other thing is their quarterback was in the conversation for the Heisman. Oklahoma was good. I'm not saying they're a top 10 team, but I think they're a good team.
It was a good win.
Yeah, it was a good win.
Okay.
I mean, for a team that was, or a program that was spiraling a little bit with a lot of question marks and legitimate question marks about their coach, about their quarterback, and about a lot of things, then for them to win that game surprised me anyway.
I gotta give Sark some credit.
A little bit. Yeah, he deserves some.
No, not for what he did on the field. Sark, he outkicked his coverage.
Oh, I didn't see.
He outkicked his coverage. He's married to a sister that is a model. She's very elite. So my kudos to Steve Sarkisian.
Yeah, because he's not a model.
He lost some weight, man. Hey, you get with the right woman to make you do that. My woman noticed that. She pointed it out. Like, she's dripped. She's dripped. Like when she goes out, like she's legit model the whole 9 yards. She showed. I'm like, this ain't Sark's wife. Ain't no way in hell.
Have you seen Jay Glazer's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that he would have won Woodward Sports' Outkick Your Coverage giveaway?
No, 100%. Like she's elite. Like from fashion to style to the look, she's beautiful. Like, cool. You know what?
Good for you, Sark. Well, you and I both outkicked our coverage too. The other thing is, speaking of fraudulent, Brian Callahan. Not that he was fraudulent per se, but he was pink slipped by Tennessee after just 1.5 seasons.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not much. It is insane, isn't it? I mean, it's a very unique situation there where you give him 1 year. My argument is this: it's got to be more than wins and losses. It has to be. It's got to be something along the lines of. I know people hate the word. It's got to be a culture. It's got to be a relationship that's gone sour with a really important player. Cam Ward. I don't know.
A lot major philosophy difference.
This goes to why coaches take their time and they pick the right decision. Now, it doesn't work in the case of Ben Johnson because he passed on the Commander's job, and the Commanders had Jaden Daniels, so that could have worked out for him. But you got to take your time. Even though it's only 32 of these, talking about jobs, and you take forever to get it, I understand it's a head coaching job. I took forever. I paid my dues. They're offering me this. I'm going to take this job. This is what I want to be. All that sounds good. If you're potentially going to get a job that year, you're potentially going to get a job the following year too. When you take over the Tennessee Titans, what was the conversation last year? Who would draft their quarterback?
Right.
Like Will Levis? Like what? Who are you guys thinking about drafting a quarterback before you hire me? Like what is your thought process? Because if you're taking Will Levis, I don't want to be your head coach.
Well, Will Levis was there before Brian Callahan, as you know.
In that case, Will Levis is the head. Was the quarterback. My apologies. He was the quarterback when you took over. Yeah. Then what's the conversation?
Yeah. And Jaden Daniels actually came after Ben Johnson would have been named head coach. So he didn't know he was getting Jaden Daniels.
True.
Probably had a pretty good idea that he was going to get somebody who's going to be an impactful player.
I just say I look at situations. And if you look at the Tennessee Titans, what have the Tennessee Titans been? even when Vrabel was there and they got to the AFC, they had the AFC Championship and they had the number 1 seed. It was Ryan Tannehill at quarterback.
I know.
Like, they had Derrick Henry and a really good defense, and that defense is gone. So I would have looked at that Titans situation and been like, I don't know if this is the job for me. But you could miss out on an opportunity, and maybe it doesn't come like that next year. But I wouldn't have took the Tennessee Titans job. And, I love the Oilers.
Do you think there are other jobs that might become available? Because I would have guessed Mike McDaniel would have lost his job before any other football coach in the NFL. Do you think there are others that might be opening up anytime soon?
Mike McDaniel definitely is up out of there. You see what's going on with him and Tua at the microphone and the podium, both of them placing blame and saying what was done and what wasn't done. That is a bleep show. Miami's a bleep show because this seems very eerily familiar to a head coach arguing with the owners or just not looking good. So Mike McDaniels will be up out of there soon. Where are there some other situations that have extended?
Who else is fraudulent?
Shoot,
Who else is fraudulent?
Pete Carroll may not make it through the year. Like, if we're being honest, Pete Carroll's 74 years old. We know why he was brought in. He was brought in to provide, that stability.
And you like him.
I do. I love Pete.
Yeah.
I love Pete. But I also see what I see. You got a bad quarterback that's now getting exposed. You got some injuries that are doing you no favors. And it just looks like, even though it may not be the case, he's like, he's a little overwhelmed. There's a lot going on out there.
He doesn't have as much talent as you thought.
No, he
okay.
100%.
Genty took a little time to get ready.
First game of the year kind of tricked people.
Right. Bowers was hurt last week. They still have a lot of the same flaws.
Yeah, he'll be fired at the end of the season. They may give him courtesy. Just let him go to the end of the season, but he won't make it to year 2.
Wow.
I don't think he's making it to year 2. Kellen Moore, somebody got to give some time. They're still trying to figure out the quarterback situation down there. But around this league, our league's fine.
The one that surprises me, I think, is the fact we expected Cleveland to be 1-5. Baltimore's 1-5, and you said they were dead 2 weeks ago to me. You said they're done. I said, come on, man. I mean, that division's still wide open. I mean, Pittsburgh's been a stunner at 4-1. And let's face it, the reason they've been a stunner is because of Aaron Rodgers. Okay, don't say Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's proven himself. I know he hasn't won in the playoffs in 8 years, but time and time again, Mike Tomlin has proven himself to be a good enough coach to at least challenge for a division title there. Aaron Rodgers is the big surprise, the comeback player of the year right now.
John Harbaugh is a little fraudulent. And I've always thought he was.
Why have you thought that?
Because he just never seemed like that good of a coach. So then I based it on seem like, and I played against him when I was same division, the whole 9 yards. But then I started doing more research and if I'm going to say something, let me see what it looks like. He inherits the team in 08. They go to the playoffs every year from then till 2013. They win the Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. Then slowly but surely, guys start retiring like Terrell Suggs, guys like Ed Reed, guys like Ray Lewis, all 3, by the way, Defensive Player of the Year. Now, what will help John Harbaugh is Ozzie Newsome was still they're still drafting players for him.
Yep.
Now, that helps. After they retired, he goes to
Eric DeCosta's done a nice job there.
Yeah,
too.
he does.
Yep.
He went to 8-8, 5-11, 8-8, 9-7. Insert Lamar Jackson. Okay, insert Lamar Jackson. 10-6, 14-2, 11-5, 8-9, 10-7, 13-4, 12-5. Now 1-5. I say this to say this. All those Ed Reeds, all those superstars, iconic players, they retired. He lost an identity eventually. Eventually, the identity wore off. The players that played with Ray or played with Ed, they slowly but surely, they were gone. They were no more. And this team struggled, and it looked bad. Insert Lamar Jackson, who's been the 2-time MVP. They've done well by him. Defense hasn't necessarily been the same. They've had some really good players. Hasn't necessarily been what it used to be. They've stayed in the game. But what have they done in the playoffs?
So that begs this question. Why is it that the success under John Harbaugh early was due to the players?
Because that identity was always in culture. They always were a 10-6 team. It was just about them closing the door, if you will.
Yeah, but, I mean, those players obviously gone in 2004 when they won 13 games, the next year when they won 12. You said insert Lamar Jackson. So Lamar Jackson gets credit for the victories. Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, those guys get credit for the victories as well. but when it comes to the losses, it falls on John Harbaugh. Why do we differentiate there?
It doesn't just fall on John Harbaugh, because I'm also said the one last year, Lamar Jackson, in that game, threw 2 interceptions. He fumbled the ball as well. That falls on him, as well as Mark Andrews, who had a fumble and had a major drop at the end of the game. So that falls on them as well. It does. It does, but I'm just saying, for me, watching John Harbaugh, like, he's been there the longest. He's the one that's been doing the same exact thing with no success, except the Magic year, and you get credit for winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
For sure, he deserves that, regardless of who was playing.
Then this is a guy who finished number 1 in the division 6 times.
Yeah.
11 times he's won 10 games or more, but he's only 13-11 in his playoff career. No. Where's the fraudulent aspect of his coaching?
Not necessarily. Fraudulent is more of a fun word, but I believe he gets a lot of credit for what he maybe deserves a little less than for. Like, when you have some of the greatest players of all time play on the same team consistently, you're going to win 10 games, and that's what happened.
I would hope so.
And eventually they figured it out, and they won the Super Bowl. They had one of the best Super Bowl runs ever. Like, what they had to do to get to that Super Bowl and win, I give them kudos. It was a fun playoff series to watch. Joe Flacco, he got hired at the right time because the brother got paid, and technically is still getting paid as the Cincinnati Bengals. He gave a great response to when they asked him, why is he still playing? He was like, I put so much into this and I still can play. He said, like, you only get to do this once. He said, when I retire, I'm like, well, when I retire for the last time, when I'm 50 years old and I'm looking back, I want to be able to see I maximize all my experiences. Like, I was listening to his interview and asking myself, did I maximize, my ability, my career? Was there more left in the tank? And I left a little bit earlier, but that's how good the response was, because it even made me think about it. But they're still paying him.
You can relate to what he's talking about for sure. Yeah,
because he hasn't had any real major injuries. So him operating this long, he's long in the tooth. He's got grays and all the white. Flacco's never had major injuries.
Yeah.
So even though it's I think he was drafted in 07, 08. So even though it's 18 years, it's not a major knee injury in there. It's not a major shoulder injury in there. It's no elbow stuff in there. It's nothing like that. So as long as he wants to go, it's kind of like Brett Favre.
Yeah, I say this all the time to play. I mean, play as long as you can. If you're still productive, why not? We were just talking about Vince Carter a little bit ago. If that dude can still get it done, and you guys set the highest standard for yourself, the really good players, they all set a really high standard for themselves. So if they don't reach it, it's really frustrating for them. So I totally understand it. When we come back, speaking of high standards, Tarek Skubal has him. The Tigers fans have him for him as well. Get Braylon's thoughts on Tarek Skubal, knowing full well that this will dominate the sports conversation in this town and in this state and perhaps in that sport the entire offseason. That's coming up. But first, a quick thought from Les Stanford and Les Stanford Buick GMC. I was talking to a buddy of mine who used to own a dealership. He's retired now, over the weekend. And we were talking about the different deals that are going on, the expensive cars, and then I told him about what Les Stanford's doing. He's like, those are some unreal opportunities out there, like the Hummer EV SUT, $599 to lease it plus tax. You can't beat that. The Lyric SUV Leaf Special, $3 or $489 a month plus tax. And then, of course, you got the Equinox EV. My daughter has one of those, $229 a month plus tax. If those cars don't move your needle, they will have something for you because their inventory is immense. It's Les Stanford Buick GMC. Go to their website, lesstanford.com today.
Jack's Car Wash is the best car wash in the state with over 40 locations around Michigan, man. They got the free vacuums, compressed air, the mat cleaners. They got the whole 9 yards to get your car looking shiny. Guess what? Summer's still here. Look outside. Still shining, still warm, still feeling good. Okay, maybe not summer, but the sun is out. How about you do this? Text WSN to 888-522-1729. Again, text WSN 888-522-1729. We'll get you a free car wash and get you on your way. And when you're there, make sure you sign up for that unlimited wash. That's right, the unlimited wash where you can get a car wash every day, as many times a day as you want, just to make sure the car is shining for you. Jack's Car Wash is where it's at.
Every Sunday, there's only one place to get all your kneecapping, hard-hitting Detroit Lions coverage. Start your Sunday with the Lions Weekly Report with Broder and Terry Foster. Then, the Lions pregame show with Neil Rule and Sean Baligian. At kickoff, keep it locked in for all the emotions of the game with a live watch party with the heavyweights. Then, recap the game with the Lions postgame show with Anson. Game days, there's no other place to be than Woodward Sports. Live all game day. Go Lions. Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shep Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. Ever wonder what goes on inside the game?
Deep ball's got a man and got him. Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Join Braylon Edwards and Shep.
Edwards has it. 10, 5, touchdown.
On the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
The ball looks in zone. Got Edwards for the touchdown.
Where they dive deep into the heart of sports. Weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m., they're bringing you expert analysis, exclusive interviews, and a fresh perspective on the sports you love. Don't miss it, only on the Woodward Sports Network. Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Looking for dinner plans at Sizzle? Head to Black Rock Bar and Grill, home of the steak on the stone. We've been talking about it all day. You heard Shep, you heard Kool-Aid, you heard Ryan. Now hear me. This is the place for you. The deals are hot, but they won't last long. Steak and lobster, $19.99. That's a hell of a deal. Or why don't you try Braylon's beef? That's right, 20 ounces. New York strip. It is the steak for you. Same price point, $19.99. And fish and chips, they also aren't bad, $14.99. I'm telling you, man, this is the spot. But let's try this again, because the Lions didn't win last week, so no free appetizers for you, no free appetizers for me, but we will try this again. Monday night, the Detroit Lions will take on the number one team in the NFL, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Seems like we got this thing going on with them once a year here. But guess what? They beat them. You get appetizer on Tuesday. So let's put our fingers together for the Detroit Lions. But in the meantime, Black Rock is still open, and they're waiting for you.
You know, we were talking with Jeff about that. I said, how can you sell such a good steak and an excellent lobster for only $19.99? He says, you know what? It's about the people's experience that'll keep them coming back.
I'm so glad they took over.
And they're doing it right, just like Lady Jean's does it right. It's the people's experience. You know, I'm looking across, I'm looking at Justin, I'm looking at Spenny, and my immediate thought is, man, those guys need a haircut. It would be great to go into Lady Jane's. If you go right to Lady Jane's right behind him, all they got to do is sign in. Next thing they know, they're in the chair. They might fall asleep because the shampoo is just so smooth and easy and well done. But soon they'll bounce back. They'll get their hair cut, and they will look more than presentable right here for you on Woodward Sports. Lady Jane's, it is wicked awesome.
And we back.
All right, let's get to some super chats and anything else that Kool-Aid has noted before we get to, well, the topic that I'll guarantee it won't be the last time we talk about it, but it is something that I think people are really nervous about in the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan. It's Tarek Skubal and where we go from here. But first, let's get to some super chats. Kool-Aid, fire away.
Hey, yeah, definitely. You know what? Fronto in the chat, 199. He just sends in, fight on. And Michael Wary, our vet in the chat, $5 super chat.
USC?
Yeah. He says, Bray, what do you believe will happen to Mike McDaniel in Miami? They look like the worst team in the NFL this year.
Now, hear me out about this one. This is funny. He talked about James Franklin getting another job because he will. Think about that. You got to know what you're getting with James Franklin. If you bring him on right now, don't be mad if he doesn't win the big game. Getting to Mike McDaniel, I wouldn't hire him. Like, just how this situation looks for Miami, and I understand Miami's had bad situations before, but he just looks disheveled. It looks like he's overwhelmed. It looks like an individual that can't handle this situation, and now you got your star quarterback calling individuals out. I want to see how that goes further. He won't finish the job here in Miami, but I don't know if he'll get another head job. Like, he just doesn't seem like the temperament for a head coaching job.
Yeah, I don't think he'll get another head coaching job. But I do believe
offensive coordinator for sure.
But I do believe he'd be an offensive
He
coordinator.
deserves it. And a lot of times you see individuals, they have to go back to the coordinator space because it's a more comfortable space for them. They take their chance. It doesn't work. Josh McDaniels, I mean, he's done it twice now.
I was just going to say, if Josh McDaniels can get hired twice, maybe Mike McDaniel can, which tells you that's ridiculous. But as a guy who was the offensive coordinator at San Francisco, he was part of the Falcons, the Browns, the Commanders, the Texans, I believe, then he's got plenty of connections. He would be an asset to somebody's offensive system. He's very quirky, all right? He looks very nervous at the podium. What doesn't help his situation is when his quarterback comes out and basically says, this team lacks leadership, and it starts at the top.
Yeah.
And for him to come out and publicly say after another loss, and I always thought he was a good leader at Alabama, but Tua Tagovailoa coming out and saying, look, guys are late for players-only meetings.
Yeah.
Guys are late for meetings, and it's a standard that has been set, and it starts at the top. He is throwing every coach and his front office under the bus, and I don't understand why he did that.
You know what else he's throwing? He's throwing interceptions, including 3 of them, and he threw one at the end, cost them the game.
Right.
But he didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
But he didn't get up to the podium and say, so I got to be better. I'm throwing interceptions. I'm out here looking like ass. He didn't say that.
Yeah.
He got up at the podium, and what he talked about was everybody missing the meetings that he attends.
Yes.
He talks about, oh, this guy's missing that, or we having guys do that, and leadership starts at the top, alluding to Mike McDaniels. Tua, what are you doing?
Right.
Because I agree with you 100%, and it can be true. I've been in these situations where there'll be some guys that skip a meeting or things of that nature, but it's not the quarterback's job to come up here after a loss, which you didn't play bad, and you start to spew all this. And you know what it does? You're pointing to deflect from the game you just had. You see this when companies are about to go bottoms up. You see the individuals that are trying to make sure their spot is still good. Hey, it wasn't me. I'm always at my cubicle. I'm always doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You better check those guys over there. Hey, in fact, my boss, he's not doing his job. Why don't you go look at him? Because they know that here it comes. The wrath is coming, and everybody's about to get moved. That's what this is, and I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
I've never had that feeling about Tua. I may not like some things within the mechanics of his game, but I never had a conversation like this. This is different. I'm not a fan of this.
Praise in public, criticize in private. And you better be careful when you start slinging arrows and throwing rocks in glass houses, because he's got plenty to work on. And if I'm a player, I sure don't like the fact that he is, even if I'm going to those meetings, you're throwing my teammates, you're throwing other people under the bus, and it's just not professional. And you sure don't do it in a media setting like that after a loss, like you said. So it's a really good point, but we appreciate the super chat. More super chats there, Kool-Aid.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And the people
and crush that like button.
Some good ones. And Dante151, number 2 in the chat today with the crown, $4.99 super chat says, Arizona Cardinals head coach might be out if the Cardinals keep losing.
No, he's gone. Like I said that at the beginning. I said that at the beginning. Yeah, I'm actually glad he reminded me. Yeah, Gannon's out of there. And it's injuries, are a part of it. But one, the Bidwells don't give anybody that long. And then 2, when you watch it, it does the same thing.
It doesn't look like there's much synchronicity there.
It doesn't.
At all. Yeah.
It did for a brief moment last year, Shep. It seemed like this team was fighting for him. Seemed like they liked what he was saying. But now I go back. Remember the infamous video of him in the team meeting room that went viral? And he was giving a speech, and it just looked all types of wacky, and it looked like nobody was into it. You're like, what is going on? Like, how does this guy keep a job?
Yeah.
Well, he won't have one for very much longer.
But more importantly, excuse me, how do these guys get a job?
That's what I mean, not keep one. How do you get in? Well, it's the Good Old Boys Club.
I know, but where's the Good Old Boys Club has always been – it's the guy who has had a job before or has a relationship and all this other stuff. We see it in sports all the time. That's fine. I don't have an issue with that. I want to know how in a conference room that you're sitting down and I'm looking at at Spenny right now, and we welcome Mike. Come on in. And he's wearing his, short pants, which is fine, I guess. How does he answer the questions so enthusiastically to convince you that this is my guy when he's facing the media after their most recent loss and literally looks like he's stumbling to find words in an offense or a football verbiage that he has no idea of what it is. He sounds lost.
Because individuals aren't vetting the process. Owners aren't vetting the process. You got a bunch of these new owners and collective groups, and where they don't know what they're asking for.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you have individuals in there helping them pick, and they don't know what the hell they're doing either. Back in the day, you had a vetted process of an offensive coordinator who had been there for so long. You knew who the hell he was, or a defensive coordinator. This is going to be my guy. He knows how to interview because he's in the dope. So he's ready for this interview process, and he knocks it out of the park, and he gets the job. Nowadays, you legitimately have an offensive coordinator be there for a year, and now he's gone, and now you're promoting a wide receivers coach, or you are promoting a quality control guy or a wide receivers assistant. And they're getting spots faster and faster, and just because you think they were there, not everybody's Kevin O'Connell.
No, I got to tell you, if I were an athletic director or the owner of a franchise, I would have a relationship with certain veterans within my organization. Let's say it's Braylon Edwards. And I would bring them and tell them, hey, listen, I want your opinion. If you're willing to share it, I'll fly you in, put you up in a hotel. You're not going to get paid for this, but I want you to be part of the vetting process.
Yeah.
I want you to ask the questions an athlete should be asking. And it's a big reason why I think Detroit struck gold.
That's how you get Dan Campbell.
That's how you get Dan Campbell, because Chris Spielman was a big part of that. He doesn't get enough credit for that. You bring in those. Look, these guys are real. You can say what you want about analytic people, but the players are the ones who have to play for these guys. And why I don't understand why they don't get it. Everyone feels like, oh my God, my job is threatened. I'm supposed to be able to. I'm the adult in the room, and I'm supposed to be able to make the decision. Why can't you just say, you know what? I didn't play.
Yeah.
He did. Bring him in and let him ask him a few questions and take some notes, observe a little bit, give him situational scenarios that would force me to say, this is how I'd handle it, and then we can talk about it privately as we, eat some Black Rock steak and lobster.
Because we don't want to depend on these players for anything, and we don't want to feel like we owe them anything. Once their job is done, their job is done, and that's what a lot of organizations operate by. Once the job is done, it's done. I don't need to ask Braylon what he thinks, and he comes in. That's just kind of how it is. Like nowadays, it's let me get somebody that coached under Kyle Shanahan. Let me get somebody that coached under Sean McVay.
Yeah.
Let me get one. I don't care. Did he coach under Kyle Shanahan? He did? Okay, cool. Bring him in for an interview, and let's see what he's got. Don't care that he's a wide receivers coach. Let's make him offensive coordinator. Don't care that he was an offensive coordinator for Kyle Shanahan. Meanwhile, Kyle Shanahan was the one still figuring it out. You know what? Cool. Just bring him in. We'll trust it. That's kind of where it is now. We need to get us a guy that's one of the guys. Not everybody can get lucky like the Lions and get a Ben Johnson. It's somebody under the McVay tree, which he's under Kyle Shanahan, so it's the Kyle Shanahan tree.
Yeah, and we're all for promoting from within.
Right.
I mean, Kelvin Shepard deserved it, right? John Morton, passing coordinator, comes over. That's not what you're saying. What I'm saying, when you go into that, if we're thinking about a list of candidates, and I would say this at the collegiate level too, I don't know how many you bring in, but bring in some guys who've been around. A lot of the guys, they don't deserve to because they're out of it. Like, they're done with football. I don't want to deal with football anymore. I'm moving on. But some people are still involved in it. Some people still talk to those coaches and players, and they have those relationships that they've cultivated for an extended period of time. I think those guys, their opinions are valuable.
Yeah, and you guys are dropping some heat, especially with the involvement of the former players. Get my guy Bray more involved, too. But when you talk about Chris Spielman, I wonder if you talk about a former player, what do most former players say? Dan gets it. I wonder if it was just a room full of front office people, the normal front office people, if they would have just said, okay, we like the spirit, Dan.
Right.
But Spielman being in that room was probably like, I know we're still looking for a GM, but I'm telling you, I would run through a brick wall for that
Exactly.
guy.
I'll tell you what, we were doing a production meeting once with a former Lions coach who's still in the league as a defensive coordinator who's pretty good.
Yeah.
And the player I was doing the games with played in the NFL and asked the guy a question. And the guy this coach was just basically dismissed him. And he leaves the room, and the guy looks at me and goes, that guy's a blanking blank hole. I would never play for him. He leaves. New coach comes in who had great success in a different organization, was one of the best men you'll ever meet. Players would follow him, was in Indianapolis and came here, had the same scenario, asked some questions. He gets up, leaves. The guy looks at me and goes, I'd run through a freaking wall for that guy.
Yeah.
Okay?
That makes sense.
He noticed some different things about those guys because he played.
Yeah.
And he was right about both of them, by the way. He's not going to bat 1,000, but he was right about both of them because players can see through the bull crap that a lot of us can't. No, I'm serious, man. There's a sense that they get because they've dealt with it their entire lives. They've been lied to, and they've also been entrusted with somebody too. So I think it's a really important part. So thanks for the super chat. Anything else?
One more I think is a really good one. Shout out, it says Inkster to LA. Shout out to Inkster, man. Went to school there for 6 years.
So she's in LA, right? Or this person's in LA, right?
Probably in LA now. A little bit different scenery. But it said, and this is why I wanted to make sure we ask this one too. So should AG, Aaron Glenn, have waited with the New York Jets?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Because Braylon's like, why are you doing that? Listen, there are certain places you want to jump to.
That is very fair, and I set myself up for that. So let me take my New York Jet situation out of the equation. But AG played for the Jets too.
He did. That's
all right, here we go. The answer is no. Like the Jets aren't a job that I would have taken. Like,
why?
Because the Jets have been because the Jets have been a dumpster fire since, and even that year, even in the 2009-2010, like the Jets really captured lightning in a bottle. It was a great job by Tannenbaum at the time. The moves they made, they kind of went all in, and they had a really good foundation there with some draft picks: Nick Mangold, DeBrickashaw Ferguson, Darrelle Revis. Obviously, we know what that worked out to be. So they had a great foundation, and we captured some free agent players that we brought in, but. Since then, the Jets have been what the Jets are, and they're owned by the same individual that I love the Jets. I don't love everything about the Jets, and I'll just say that. So, no, I wouldn't have taken a job because whether it's Adam Gase, whether it's Robert Saleh, whether it's Aaron Glenn, whether it's whoever the hell was before, Todd Bowles, who they didn't give a chance to, and then they fired Rex as well, it has looked the exact same. Because it's misinformation. Individuals, like they're not sharing the information all the way around. It's the owners passing information to the GM.
How do they not
who's
see
not
that?
giving the information to the head coach.
But how do they not see that? I mean, these are – Aaron Glenn played, 13, 14 years in the National Football League. He experienced what it's like to play for a really good organization in the Detroit Lions. I know that sounds funny to hear, but it's true. All that knowledge that he had as a player – as an assistant coach, as a defensive coordinator, as a successful man, both playing and coaching, how do you walk into that situation and not recognize those glaring omissions that you just brought up?
Some individuals, they can make the change. They can be the difference.
They want to believe.
As well as Aaron Glenn just saw the same situation in Detroit. Yeah. So maybe he's trying to give the New York Jets the benefit of the doubt. Maybe Woody Johnson and his team are saying the right things because they finally want to get it right. And they brought him in. Like, at the end of the day, there are only 32 of these.
Yeah.
And it's not always going to be there.
True.
That's so true.
Aaron Glenn's like, look, not only is it a job there, it happens to be at a place that I used to hang my hat where I was all pro. So if I can't figure it out here, then maybe it's just not in the cards for right now. But that's how you make the move.
You're right. 0-6, the only winless team in the National Football League. It's surprising. But when you see players like Garrett Wilson getting really frustrated in front of his coach, asking why he's not using a timeout.
To go for it.
It leads to a lot of speculation.
Yeah, I also feel bad for them because they're legitimately going to have the number one pick overall, correct? Who the hell are they drafting their quarterback this upcoming year? Like, legitimately, they will be the number one pick, and this is what played.
The Mendoza kid out of Indiana. I have no idea.
But this is the bad luck of the Jets. Because there isn't a Jaden Daniels and I know it's early, it's always.
That's a good point.
But there is no Caleb Williams, if you want to say that, or Drake May, or Jaden Daniels, or who was it this year, Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Like, there isn't that in this draft. This draft is legitimately the leftovers of the last couple years of NIL and transfer portal and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like, who are you taking?
Yeah. It's an excellent point.
Yeah, preaching.
Like, you need a quarterback. You can't even get a quarterback in this draft. You may have to take another defensive player or offensive lineman just because.
Yeah, I mean, look, just because you need a quarterback, as you and I have talked about before, just because you need a quarterback doesn't mean that you draft a quarterback. That's how you get in trouble. Yeah. That's how you become the Jets.
Very true. But I'm just saying, like, usually when you get the number one pick, this is a chance to start the franchise over.
I get you,
There's not even that player there. I mean, who is it? What player is there in the league?
Yeah, well, remember
that you go pick up from.
They did that years ago with Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
And they screwed up. And the kid had an unbelievable arm at BYU, but he really wasn't good. Would it be Fernando Mendoza of Indiana? Would it be who's the kid at South Carolina, Lenora Sellers?
What? Who are these people?
Could it be Dante Moore of Oregon, the Detroit kid?
I know him.
I'm just bringing up names.
No, I know that, but I'm just like, my response is more of a sarcastic one to the conversation. Like, who are these people?
Yeah.
Like,
if they drafted Caleb Downs, the safety out of Ohio State, who's a really good player and might be arguably the best player in America, arguably, how much is that moving that needle in New York? Probably not much, because they'll still be screaming, we don't have the trigger that we need.
And then it's like not one of those situations where it's like a Matt Stafford or, even though that didn't work out, Russell Wilson. Like, who's that? What's that situation to where you go give money and you trade picks to get that quarterback?
They tried Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yeah, you're right. They did do that.
So that is really brutal. All right, we'll get to the mailbag when we come back, and maybe if we have a moment to talk about the Tarek Skubal thing, even though not that there's any news there isn't, but I do want Braylon's thoughts on it when we come back on the Braylon Edwards Show on Woodward Sports after this.
Man, so our last Tarek Skubal game.
Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah, those are some good options.
Are you talking about the massage?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I mean,
we were just talking off microphone here, and you're sitting there going, "Yeah, I didn't know what you were going." What was happening there?
Is Spencer Rattler still in college?
No, he's not.
I wouldn't want him either. Yeah, the Saints wish you were.
If you're like the Jets and trying to upgrade your quarterback position, and if you're looking to upgrade
when you need them.
your relaxation game, you check out Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, the largest massage chair showroom in the Midwest, located near the corner of Woodward and Long Lake Road. Experience luxury comfort with Dr. Eric Duncan, the wellness doc, creator of the top YouTube massage chair review channel. Book a visit at www.massagechairhouse.com or scan that QR code above my head. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
And you can also scan that QR code above my head. Shout out to that dude Justin, that's just over my left shoulder with JD. Just giving you guys some time to scan that QR code and get a jump on this information that I'm about to tell you about. Wicked Pickle. If you're looking for the ultimate pickleball experience, check out Wicked Pickle. It's Metro Detroit's hottest indoor pickleball spot with 10 climate-controlled courts, all right? They have daily open play for all levels, so they're inviting Ryan and I out to go and embarrass ourselves, and a chill lounge with TVs, ping pongs, and cold drinks. It's always game on, rain or shine. If you're throwing a party or a team event, they host groups from 10 to 200. So don't miss the APA Michigan Gold Cup. That's November 22nd through the 23rd. Sign up at pickleballtournaments.com or scan that QR code above my head again. And mark your calendars for Woodward Sports' Pickleball Party, January 9th. Details are coming soon. I want to see you guys there.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Every Sunday, there's only one place to get all your kneecapping, hard-hitting Detroit Lions coverage. Start your Sunday with the Lions Weekly Report with Broder and Terry Foster. Then, the Lions pregame show with Neil Rule and Sean Baligian. At kickoff, keep it locked in for all the emotions of the game with a live watch party with the heavyweights. Then, recap the game with the Lions postgame show with Anson. Game days, there's no other place to be than Woodward Sports. Live all game day. Go Lions.
If you are looking to place any bets tonight or later on in the week, since football season is here, check out Caesars Sportsbook. I used them and made a little bit of money yesterday on the Bills and Falcons game. Make sure you scan that QR code and use code Woodward1000. If your first bet doesn't hit, you get that deposit right back. Bet up to a maximum of $1,000, minimum bet of just $20. Download the Caesar Sportsbook app today, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Use code Woodward1000 or scan that QR code.
Man. We bet.
There we go.
How good of a quarterback does like Josh Allen look now? Like what is it? Let me not phrase it that way because I feel like that's a little that's terrible. Like when things don't go well for the Buffalo, like he doesn't look good.
Agreed.
Like when
He
things
didn't look good last night.
Like when things don't go well for Patrick Mahomes, like outside him being annoying, like he still can, he still can find you some plays to where you're still like, ugh. Like even in this horrible game, yeah, all right, you're still Patrick Mahomes. Like if it's not going all the way right for Josh Allen, it looks more like yesterday than it does not.
Yeah.
And this goes back to when I said they have to find a number one wide receiver. Like it's all well and good until you get put in a situation where you got guys who can't get open.
100%.
Keon Coleman, for much as I love his athletic ability and some of his talent, he's not a number one wide receiver.
You're right.
In fact, he's a 2, masquerading as 1. Khalil Shakir is not a 2.
Right.
He is a 3. He happens to be extremely gifted at yards after catch. There's some athleticism to him. He's hard to bring down. He's a 3.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Green Bay.
Yeah, like you got a 3
It
and
does.
a 2.
Like
100%.
you're relying on your quarterback
and the tight
making
ends.
those guys so much better, right? That offensive line struggled last night against that pressure from Atlanta, and it showed. And it just goes to prove you.
Yeah.
I know we saw the numbers from the Sunday night game, Jared Goff under pressure, so on and so forth, if you watched any of the pregame. But Josh Allen was under a lot of pressure last night. Jaden Daniels was under some pressure, okay? It was wet, too. That didn't help. But there's a lot of quarterbacks who struggle when they're under pressure, all right? Yeah. And I don't mean pressure under the big lights and because it's an NFL game. I mean with big, bad
pressure.
guys with bad breath breathing on you. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, 100%. And it's funny because watching that game, you now realize who the most important receiver for that team is. He didn't play last night. It's Kincaid.
Yeah, the tight end.
Kincaid, like
they actually have 3 good tight ends.
True, Dalton Knox as well.
Yeah,
and then Palmer, who got injured as well, and he got injured too. But like Kincaid's the guy. He's 6 catches a night, and that gets him into the rhythm. Oh, I wish you would have been here Friday. One of the biggest things I said, Kool-Aid. Didn't I say punk Travis Kelce?
Yes, you did.
I said start of the game. You get two defenders on him. You get a linebacker, Derek Barnes, Alex Anzalone. You press him at the line of scrimmage, and then you play over top with Brian Brandt.
Yeah.
Whenever he didn't complete passes, who was checking him? It was 32. But you didn't want to do that. You didn't want to press him. You let him get open. You let him get comfortable. You let him make some plays.
Yeah, the free release bothers the hell out of me with certain guys like that.
Him.
It drives me crazy. Somebody in the chat said this is Scott Harris's biggest offseason. I don't think that is hyperbolic by any stretch. I think you're absolutely right about that, especially since it has to do with Tarek Skubal. I don't think we have time to get into that. We're 3 minutes shy. I want to make sure we get the mailbag. We will address that tomorrow with Braylon Edwards because I want to get his thoughts on it. I think it's really important. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I was going to say, we definitely, Braylon's Breakdown is the best thing, but I think we need to have little channels on that Braylon's Breakdown network, like maybe Braylon's wide receiver room, because you talking about wide receivers is electric. Straight up, bro.
Oh, man, I appreciate that, man. It's comes kind of natural.
I was gonna say, did you play the position or something?
Yeah, I might have played it or something.
Look, we had this poll going all show, and early on, Goff's touchdown catch versus the Chiefs was leading. It's which ref job was worse as it relates for the Lions.
Yeah.
The Skipper reporter versus the Cowboys or Goff's touchdown versus the Chiefs. It's been pretty deadlocked. Right now, it's 51% Goff's touchdown versus the Chiefs. Maybe it's the recency.
I think so. I think it's because it's fresh in our minds. Yeah.
Okay, which one is? Well, you think it's still the Dan Skipper one? Most agreed.
Well, the reason I say it's Dan Skipper because I didn't know the rule about Jared Goff, and apparently the team didn't either. I think Dan Skipper did exactly what he's supposed to do.
Right.
He did report.
Right.
In fact, he and Taylor Decker were talking to the referee at the same time.
Yeah, that was so tough.
That's why I think it's more egregious. Both took touchdowns off the board, so both I feel like you got screwed. Which is more impactful? It's a good question.
Skipper one directly led to a loss, though.
That's right. Yeah. Whereas the Lions had a chance to do that against Kansas City. But I'm telling you, man, when Skipper's sitting there talking to the referee, and the referee's not even looking at him, and you assume he's saying, "Hey, man, I'm eligible." Then they don't report it.
Yeah.
That tells me it's a little bit more egregious.
I'm going with the Chiefs game.
Okay.
Ooh.
I think it's more egregious, and not because of the recency bias. I think because they let you know at the beginning of the game, ain't happening here tonight. Like from the start of the game, they let you know.
Dog, I actually get that.
No, 100%. Nah. Not happening today, Detroit. In fact, we're not even going to blow the whistle for them, but we're going to blow it on y'all, and we're going to take this playback. That's why I think it's egregious, because it set the tone. Yeah. And once you look at the end of the game and you realize 0 penalties, 0 calls, you're like, oh, they were letting us know in the beginning of the game that wasn't happening.
You've been forewarned.
I think I'm going with that one.
It's a good one.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Anything else from the mailbag before we're out of here on a Tuesday afternoon?
I'll clean up. There's a few more super chats that I'll definitely clean up. Middle-aged sneaker chick, number 3 in the chat today. $5 super chat. She says, the adult in me did not like Brian Branch and how he reacted, but the Detroit in me loves a good old crash out. Brian Branch is a dog. Juju should have found something safe to do. 100.
So I appreciate that, and Juju is a punk too, because you saw them. But this is the other part about the Juju Smith-Schuster thing. You see what happens. He gets punched in the jaw. He does all this fake.
He just kept it between the whistles,
and then he runs around as Isaiah Pacheco, who knows Brian Branch, is holding him on some cool stuff, like trying to get him away from it. He's like not even really trying to get at Brian Branch if he wanted to, and then he finally gets around Isaiah Pacheco and got slammed. Isaiah Pacheco's holding one of Brian Branch's arms. He used the other one and slams Juju Smith-Schuster on the ground. He's a punk. With that being said, we can't have that. Like I love you. I'm from Detroit too. You know what I'm saying? Shout out. I grew up down the street. But we gotta tailor that in, because that can come up at the wrong time, the wrong game, the wrong you
we
just don't
can't
want
miss Brian Branch.
Well, we don't need something has to be said, and then you get to the point now where like, all right, I really got to hold him accountable. Now you look at the long laundry list of penalties, of fines, of things. You got to dial it back in, because what's happening, and this is my honest opinion. You know he's my guy, Kool-Aid. You know he's my guy, Ryan, Shep.
I know you.
What's happening is one safety already got paid, one safety has not. Right. 13 penalties, you become a trade piece. Yeah. And it's not because they want to trade you. It's not because they want to move you. It's because of
you're forcing their hand.
You're forcing their hand. 13 situations. Yeah. It gets to the point where 7 is cute. 10 is all right. He's aggressive. 13 is he doesn't care.
Yeah. So, it's out of control. You're 100% right, and it's reputation based. Here's the other thing.
True. So out of that, some of those are he got targeted. Understand that. Yep. But you're not year 2 anymore. You're not this is 3 for you.
You're supposed to be a leader. Okay, and you don't do that stuff. Let's face it, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it's fair or not, people have reputations. If I say Clayton Kershaw right away, what do people think? They think winner. Not very good in the postseason, 13-13, not good enough, right? Well, if that's the case, you got coaches, can't win the big one. James Franklin we were talking about. Guys like Clayton Kershaw failed to do what they're supposed to do in the postseason. Brian Branch's reputation is now solidified as a dirty or combustible player at the least.
Hold on, they didn't get James Franklin any credit for beating SMU at home? Oh, man, that's
I'm out. So is Braylon. We'll see you tomorrow.
So, have a day.
Ever wonder what goes on inside the game?
Deep ball's got a man and got him. Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Join Braylon Edwards and Shep.
Edwards has it. 10, 5, touchdown.
On the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Bar looks in zone. Got Edwards for the touchdown.
Where they dive deep into the heart of sports. Weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m., they're bringing you expert analysis, exclusive interviews, and a fresh perspective on the sports you love. Don't miss it, only on the Woodward Sports Network.